Man these shields, boys! Remember this day, men, for it will be yours for all time.
Welcome to the night zone, hear the warriors speak. Life's the battlefield and we ain't feeling weak. From love to the game and the power we seek. Got a voice, a strong breaking every peak. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Politics and prayers, ain't no subject we shun. Keep it real, keep it raw till the battle's won. Fitness tips to faith, every topic under the sun. With honor and valor, every man's battle begun. Warriors with words, swords through the air. Every point sharp and every talk fair. Knights at the round table, come and pull up a chair. Join the brotherhood, words laid bare. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Warriors with words, swords through the air. Every point sharp and every talk fair. Knights at the round table, come and pull up a chair. Join the brotherhood, words laid bare. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave.
All right, greetings everybody. Welcome to the Guys Night Podcast. New year, new me is around the corner, so we thought we'd touch on fitness again. Lucky to have a couple of visitors this evening that know a lot about it, have some tremendous stories that I've heard a little bit about, and can't wait to hear a little bit more. And more than that, they're out there helping other people, whether it's veterans, whether it's your first time getting in there. And I think we've even got a story of somebody losing over 400 pounds, so I can't wait to hear a little bit more about that. So let's get this thing started. Please like, share, comment, do something so that we can get some attention on this and continue to have these conversations with guys everywhere. Look forward to an episode we're doing in 2 weeks where we're going to have some information. We're going to do a little biohacking special. We've got somebody coming on to talk about cold plunges and saunas, as well as somebody that's going to talk a little about what kind of blood work you need to be getting done as a man and how you can make sure that you're staying ahead of your genetics. And things like that. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about dry needling and some other self-care that you guys can do too. So make sure you stay tuned to that. But without further ado, Kyle, welcome to the show. Tell us a little about yourself, man.
What's up, guys? I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I help get veterans sober. I lost over 130 pounds now. I've been alcohol-free for 2 years. I got really religious, and now I just teach other people how to take control of their lives. Probably the most controversial person on the fucking internet. So my Instagram is Perry's_powerhouse_fitness. But if you live in your mom's basement, do not follow me. You will fucking cry yourself to sleep. People message every podcast I'm on, like, don't have him. I was on Brad Lee's podcast, and like 5 people were like, he's the biggest piece of shit ever, dude. Don't have him on there. And then like, that podcast went crazy. So,
Hate is easy to find, dude.
for sure.
It is. If you're not hating you, you're not relevant, right?
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Nick, welcome back.
Thanks. Yeah, my name is Nick Montaquila. My Instagram handle is Beefcake19. So come follow me. I do online and in-person coaching for bodybuilding and life fitness coaching. So I'm also a NPC bodybuilding competitor. And I hopefully going to make a strong national run this year. So that's my Instagram background.
Hell yeah, man. And Dejan, welcome
Yes.
aboard, man.
Thank you, guys. Dejan Jajcevic. Instagram is All Might Dejan from the cartoon character from My Hero. I'm a nerd, if you could just tell by the sleeve. So it's easy to be a nerd with me about anything. Co-owner to Center Stage Aesthetics and bodybuilding prep coach and lifestyle. So
Awesome. And then Evan, anchoring the end of the table. How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great. This is my 11th time again.
Yeah.
So I'm great to be back, and can't wait to hear some of these stories these guys have.
Yeah, and you know what? Obviously, New Year's is coming around the corner, so people are asking all kinds of questions about fitness, and there's all kinds of levels that we want to get into. Nick, obviously, you're on the competitive stage this year. That'll be awesome if you go to the national aspect of it. That's a big push. And Dan, I know that you are putting a lot of people on that stage right now, right? And then you work with posing coaching or pose coaching and all the other different aspects of that as well.
yeah, so I get the privilege to actually help a lot of coaches with their clients for posing via FaceTime or in person. So I've made some pretty good connections with a couple of different coaches that are at different levels, and they send me their clients because it's kind of hard to have the time to prep, diet, everything, and to help them some with posing. So having someone they can send their people to, they know they're not going to poach their clients or misguide their information and just focus on what I'm hired for. That's something I do. I mean, whether I see some coach do something and I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm never going to say that.
Right.
Because, that's, maybe it's their protocol and it's something I don't know that they're doing with them and they have a special circumstance. It's not good to impede on their judgment. Let them have an unbiased opinion to their preps, and I just focus on what I'm hired for.
Hell yeah. And then Kyle, tell us, let's actually get this started off with you, the most hated man, and at least in this area for sure, in the 330 area code. I didn't get any letters, but maybe that's because I just don't have enough people watching the podcast. But we encourage the hate. This is a position we place that men have a safe place here to talk shit and open their minds to all kinds of different alternatives. But tell us a little about what you mentioned over 300 pounds. And just to start out, the first thing I saw from you was, I believe, you telling a story on another podcast where you realized it was a problem when you were in Sam's Club. Is that right?
Yeah.
And your daughter knew what your favorite drink was?
Yeah, it was Fireball. She's like, "Look, Daddy, it's your favorite drink." But like the crazy thing is, most Americans are like that. Like their kids know their favorite drink's Bud Light or whatever. Like most Americans, by definition, are alcoholics. Like 100%. I just get on the internet and I talk about the old me, and it pisses the world off because 75% of Americans are overweight, living that exact same life. I was really high up in the corporate world, bro, making $100,000 plus bonus. And I just lost myself. I was sitting at this desk one day, and I'm like, I fucking hate my life. I hate everyone in all these fucking loser-ass fucking people I surrounded myself with. I don't like none of these bitches, none of these fucking chumps, none of them. I'm losing weight. I'm getting back in shape. I'm acting like I was in the Marine Corps, and I started living every day like I was in boot camp again, and I haven't stopped. I ruck every day, and I work out every day, and then, like, I just live every single day the exact same, and then I just try to teach other people to take control of their lives. Like, and then I try to support other people too, because I hit him up to like help me with my shit and like get more into bodybuilding. That's what's fucked up with this industry is they'll hate the next person instead of just networking together. Like that posing thing you said, that's sick. Most people don't fucking live life like that. They just hate on the next man.
Yeah, I think all three of us work really well together. Like, I work with Dan all the time with some of his posing stuff, and we all like cohabitate. Even though we kind of do the same thing, nobody's like bitter or competitive. I think that's the difference between sometimes men and women too. Like men, we can coexist together, where sometimes women can be a little bit more catty about stuff. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So we don't feel threatened. Like, you want to surround yourself with successful kind of men.
Real men don't fucking feel threatened by other men. Though.
Yeah,
that's the fact. That's what's wrong with society is a bunch of pussy ass men walking around offended by the real men.
Yeah, and they complain about a lot that's going on, but then if somebody calls them out for it, like then they're mad at you, and then they shut you out or they block you or whatever. I've had friends where they like won't talk to you because you said something that hurt their feelings. When it's like, dude, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. I was just trying to tell you how it is. Like if you change this one thing, like all the stuff you're complaining about, half of it'll go away. Go ahead.
Of it, think about it. Like, how did successful men get to the way that they are is because they're able to take criticism and able to grow from it, right? So like all of us, I can say, hey, Dejan, man, your lat pull down sucks, blah, 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 and give him some tips, and he'll take it to heart. Say, okay, cool. Maybe he'll get better with it. Maybe he'll do his own thing. But he's open-minded to it because he wants to grow. Well, vice versa. He could give me a tip, and I would do the same thing.
And the other thing is too, if I'm not open to it and I'm like, fuck it, I like what I do, I'm going to do it. That's on me, right? That doesn't mean that I have to have a certain kind of vibe or feeling towards you. Like, and you don't have to. Hey, you know what? He didn't take my advice. That's cool. That's his thing.
Like, yeah, that guy's an idiot. Whatever. I'm going to
And you don't have to hate somebody for what they tell you either. So many people are like, "Oh, I hate that motherfucker now." Like, dude, he was just. They love to say it's an unsolicited opinion. Like, there's no such thing as that. It's called good advice. Take it or not.
Yeah.
Like, unsolicited doesn't fucking exist. It's just something they use to like act like they're offended by the fucking phrase that you just told them.
Dude,
Yeah.
It would blow your mind the amount of people that I try to like genuinely just give help to at the gym that I see doing something wrong. A lot of times like they're doing something that might hurt themselves, and you'd have thought I kicked their dog or something, dude. They're all pissed off and sad, and I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to help you grow. Like I want you to be better. I'm not asking for any compensation for this either. I'm just wasting my time here trying to give you a you know. Right?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one thing about the community. And it's funny, I didn't realize you guys all even knew each other. Had no clue when I reached out to you guys all individually to do this.
Well, my first time meeting him.
Yeah.
First time meeting him.
I know everybody.
We sat down and talked for like 2 hours.
What's that?
We sat down and talked for like 2 hours one day.
Oh, well, Nick will definitely sit you down and talk for 2 hours.
My wife calls me the mayor because every time we go somewhere, I know someone. Like, oh, we're in like Florida, and hey, what's up, man? How the fuck do you know that guy? You know, yeah.
That's just how fitness is, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things, we talked about Craig's gym here in Medina, like, and what he's trying to build, not only that gym, but his ones in Worcester and Ashland and stuff like that. Like, I really think that he builds like a community that just makes it kind of fun to hang out and talk with everybody. Like, he's like, oh, I put a pool table in here, and now, like, people don't want to leave after they work out. And then I brought up the ideas, like, my wife and I love playing sand volleyball in the summertime, and I was like, hey, how much property are you? It'd be sweet, not even for the leagues, but just to have. And he's like, oh, I can fucking do that. He's like, that'd be cool. People would hang out here all summer. And I was like, they would. Like, people will play volleyball for hours and hours and hours. And, like, he's open to it because he wants that community of, like, a gym being not just where you go to, whether you're getting prepped for a show or whether it's your part of your daily routine, but, like, the people that are there that you are become a community. And then you don't leave because that's your community.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of, they're trying to create what Planet Fitness advertises in a way. Planet Fitness is the gayest fucking gym in the world. That's what I'm saying. But the concept of why people want to go there because it's a safe place and all shit is a decent concept. And actually, like, one of the reasons why I'm so outgoing to a lot of people in the gym is because you get the stereotype as being a bodybuilder, like, oh, you're mean, he's steroids and roid rage and blah blah blah, and and it's really not that way. You know what I mean? So I want people. It doesn't matter whether it's day one or day 10, 15, 20 years into it, you want to support where they're at and their goals and where they're going and help them succeed and propel each other, and that's what creates a community.
And I'm not saying this just because I go to the warehouse. And I mean, I've talked to Craig personally a couple of times, but I'm not I'm not like his best friend or nothing. I travel for podcasts. I've been to damn near every state now, and I've never found a gym that is that community driven. Like, gyms claim they are, but like, if you go to Ontario, you can play pool with 50 people you don't even know and have like crazy conversations. And Medina has the same like atmosphere, and so does Ashland. Like, I've never seen gyms like that.
Yeah,
it's like an actual community that most fitness people claim to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet setup. So Dan, tell us a little about it, because obviously the thing about fitness is everybody comes from different backstories.
Yes. Well, actually, I want to touch base on the community aspect.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, speaking of community, it's kind of huge because when you really make that environment, it changes the perspective of everything. And what I mean by that is when I first started in bodybuilding, I was about 19. My first coach was Brian Hoydick. I know you guys talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I know your coach, right, Brian?
Yeah, he was my first one. So, I was with him for a little bit, and, things didn't work out as planned. And my second coach was this guy called Adam Atkinson, and he had this team. It was called See You Later Leaner, which is a great name. And then I was part of his team, and every time you'd post on Instagram, and he coaches a lot of people online. Mainly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I've seen that come up a few times. So
yeah, and he's definitely more pronoun towards coaching females than males, but he's a phenomenal coach, really nice guy. And every time I post him, he shared all these people's stories. I felt like I was a part of this community, but I wasn't. And that was just a really good feeling to kind of feel like I was a part of a big team. But when it came to me stepping on my first show with him, I kind of was lost on the posing aspect. I mean, I did as much research as I could on YouTube and videos and stuff like that, and that's what led me to my current coach, Mike. I knew he did posing every Sunday with his clients. I drove out there, and I talked to him. I'm like, hey, I know you don't really know me. I know of you. You do posing with your clients. Do you mind if I pay you and I just jump in and you guys teach me how to pose with your clients, even though I'm not one of your clients? He's like, no charge, just jump in. We're already doing it. I don't mind.
Wow.
So I'm like, awesome. So,
Mike is cool like that. Yeah.
I joined a lot of his posing sessions. We were doing some posing together. I came out every week before my show to learn as much as I could. And then I felt like I was part of their community. And then it slowly transitioned to then me joining on his team. And then I got to see a lot of what he does as a coach. And I'm like, man, you are so great at so many of these things and you're loved by so many people, but you have no idea how to advertise it. Terrible at social media. You barely post and you're very busy. It's hard to do that aspect.
Sure.
So over time, him and I ended up linking up together as partners, made the company Center Stage Aesthetics. And we made this posing clinic that we do once a month. And it's $10, which is nothing. Pretty much. It's just them paying the gym to enter. We don't make any money off of it. And these people come in, they're now part of this community, even though they're not our clients, all of them, but there's a bunch of coaches that come, they bring their clients, they're part of Center Stage Aesthetics, they get to pose together. It's a place where you feel safe because when you're a bodybuilder, it's really hard. If you have a show, say there's a show that just passed this weekend, December 9th. So these people competed in the middle of winter. 10 days ago was Thanksgiving. Can you imagine 8 days out, your family's cooking turkey, all this stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm on prep. I got to do cardio, and I can't eat all that. I got to bring my own food.
I can't eat any of it.
Any of it. I was actually on prep, and I was supposed to compete November 2nd. This is 2020, my second show I ever did. And because of COVID, they pushed the show a month later, so now it's December 2nd. So my peak week started on Thanksgiving, and I'm like, fuck. So I brought over fish and rice, ate my fish and rice. Everyone's like, is it really that serious? And you don't get that support from people. They don't get it because they don't know that level. They're like, it's one meal. I'm like, it's not one meal. It's a lot. And if you're going to do something, do it right. It's not. Thanksgiving comes every year. I don't know how many times I'm going to compete in my life.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't diet 18 weeks to fuck it over on a Thanksgiving meal.
Right, on some stuffing. I'm like, put it in the fridge. I'll eat it in a week.
Yeah.
If you really want it.
Yeah.
But so they don't really get that common aspect that now you create this environment where these people meet up that all understand what you're going through, how much it sucks to have brain fog, to diet, to do cardio you don't want to wake up and to build that structure into your life to where you are. So now that you have this community that you show up, you're posing, you say hi to all these friends, you follow each other, and now you can go out and hang out with people and do things that aren't just food driven, because half the time when you go out, everyone's like, what do you want to go eat? Or, there's snacking on something. And everything involves food, and then you're just kind of being baited into drinking or eating something you don't need to be, and then you're off those goals. And now a lot of people I've seen have met a lot of people in the community, and they get to hang out and just have like-minded people, not force them into a bad situation.
It's funny because as we get into the new year, a lot of people are going to have their resolutions to get in better shape or to lose weight. And the one thing about working out is it just starts with like your first time just going, whether it's you go for 20 minutes and you end up being there for 40 minutes or whatever the case. But a lot of people, when they talk about either bodybuilders or somebody that lost a lot of weight, they don't realize the amount of discipline that's required. And when you hear like your story talking about going to Thanksgiving dinner on peak week and you can't fucking eat nothing, like, one, you don't even feel like part of the family at Thanksgiving dinner because everybody else is like sitting there with their pants unbuckled, right? But two, like
it stinks.
Yeah, that's like every day. And I know Kyle comes to the military, I do as well. And you talk about even the most elite of the elite in the military, while they're extremely disciplined in a lot of things they do, like there's something different about a diet like that, right? It's an extreme aspect that to me is something I've never dedicated myself to actually putting myself into that diet, just because it's like there's a lot of prep that goes into it. Like I travel a lot for work or things like that. So then I think to myself, man, how am I going to prep all this food? Then I got to pack it. Where am I going to heat it up when I'm on the road? Or if I'm going to heat it up or I'm just going to eat it cold? And then I just give up to it. Like I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it, whatever it is. You don't have that option when you guys are prepping for something like that.
Yeah, well, one thing I'll say, it's kind of like a two-sided coin on that. Yeah, we literally, like, we get in this routine where we're just like, eat the meal. My alarm goes off my phone, eat the meal. My alarm goes off on the phone, eat the meal. But I will say, and this is more for like the New Year's resolution or people that are just starting to get out, we're not perfect either. I mean, I guarantee you, Dejan and myself
ate 2 tubs of ice cream 2 weeks out.
Yeah, exactly. we all have one of those stories where we're like, oh man, there's a good friend of mine. His name's Eric Wood. He's like an IFBB pro. He's probably the best bodybuilder in Ohio. He's a top 5 first call out open bodybuilding pro. Dude's massive. He's getting ready to do North Americans, right? He just came off of 2 second place finishes at nationals in a row, missed his pro card by 1 slot. Very, very good. Got beat by like Nick Walker and Hunter Labrada, who are both ridiculous, right? Anyways, he goes into nationals, and then or he's a week out from nationals, and he's got this coach Andrew Vu, and he just is like mentally just having a hard time, right? Fucking goes in the pantry and eats like, I don't remember what he said, don't quote me on it, but like 4 boxes of cream of rice, and there's like probably, I don't know, 8,000 calories in that, and he's dumping shit in it, whatever. He just went off the deep end, and talked to his coach. His coach like, snap out of it, do your cardio, get back on your plan, whatever. And he goes to North Americans and actually wins Mr. North America, which is crazy.
Wow.
But even what I mean by that is even the best of the best bodybuilders, they fall off the plan every once in a while. It's not whether you fall off; it's about picking yourself up and being consistent again. You know what I mean? You can have a bad day, but you don't want that bad day to turn into a bad week and then a bad month and you know whatnot. So
Yeah, and if I don't know if you guys have read the book. I kind of tried to draw on a blank, but it's about basically habits and things like that. Atomic Habits, but where he talks about, he's like, look, if you want to create a new habit, like set up your plan for what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and then just try to do it. Like if you don't do it the one day, that doesn't mean the next day don't try. Just try again. Like eventually, like it'll stick.
Dude, when I coach people, it's so funny because like, this is so hard. I can't get in this. You know, I'm like, bro, I'm asking you to fucking walk. Okay, get steps in. Walk. Okay. I'm asking you to sit in hot water or cold water, the ice bath or a salt bath 2 times a week. I'm asking you going to the gym for an hour, which is to me that's the easy part because I enjoy doing that. Yeah. I'm asking you to put a fork to your food into your mouth 5-6 times a day. Like these aren't like, oh man, I can't eat. Well, you eat every fucking day. I can't
Tuesday
walk.
triathlon.
Yeah.
How humans used to live.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to climb Mount Everest here. You know what I mean? Like we're just, these are basic things. It's just remembering to do them and getting in a routine where you're doing it every single day. I mean, really, the stuff we do is really mundane. It's really easy stuff. Yep. It's just making sure we do it all.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I want to get into your guys' stories a little bit. Kyle, yours is a little separate. Let's start with yours, Dan, because obviously you kind of touched on it a little bit. But obviously anybody can get to the fitness community, right?
Just anybody who just wants to better themselves.
Yeah. So let's
level you want to get
let's talk about that level for you, because if your backstory a little bit, Yugoslavia, right? Refugee here 25, 30 years ago. Is that right?
So 1997, I was turning 3. That's when I came to America.
Okay.
My mom, war was going on. She just took me and left. So it was just me and my mom growing up my life. I don't know my father. And I have no family, which the hardest part about that is genetics. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I don't know. I have ulcerative colitis. I don't know if anyone else has ulcerative colitis in my family. I don't know what to expect. She doesn't know much. They don't really keep track of that kind of stuff in Europe. So I don't really have a lot of back end story when it's like, what is your family history on? We'll see.
Yeah.
Allergy to anything? We'll see.
Yeah, I am the family history.
Yeah,
You're looking at it.
me, which is like one of the main reasons I really wanted kids to, expand that now. So thank goodness that happened.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I came here when I was 3. Didn't really have the resources to be an athlete or do much in my life just because mom's in poverty. I lived in Section 8 housing. It's $50 a month. And, all my life I was bullied. I was a bigger kid. I mean, again, didn't have the resources to know better. We ate what we could, ramen noodles, mac and cheese. You can only imagine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a contributing factor to so much of the processed food that I had to eat was one of the main reasons I ended up having gynecomastia, which I got at like the age of 9.
Holy
10.
shit.
So I've always had man boobs all my life. So I never took my shirt off as a kid, which led me to get bullied a lot. And
Yeah.
I never learned how to swim because I didn't want to take my shirt off. So I still can't swim because now I'm just heavy and dense and sink. But yeah, so that was just a big part of my life. So as I kind of got a little bit older, I started like YouTube was a thing. So I started learning like how to do magic tricks. And I became like a slightly world-renowned magician who was ranked in the U.S.
Swear to God, every week I learn something crazy about something.
know that.
Fucking,
That's fucking awesome.
who would have known?
Yeah, if you have a deck of cards, I got you. Yeah, I was 8th in Ohio, 42nd in the U.S., 97th in the world for people under 21. And I
Wow.
was 17 when I got to that point. And I learned all of that off just YouTube, self-taught. But same thing with working out. I looked up stuff on YouTube, learned as much as I could, and I wanted to get into fitness, working out. I remember my first day in the gym, I was 16. I went to FitWorks. I was going to sign up, and I go there for about a week or 2 for their trial, and I see this guy. His name is Big Bill. He was supposed to come today, but he didn't. This man is so big, and he's the nicest guy if you talk to him, but he's so big, I was intimidated. I can't be here. I don't deserve to walk on this ground.
He's like 6'4", isn't he? Like
He's like 6'1", but he's 330.
Jesus.
Maybe 12% body fat, so he's always big. He's also ex-military, and he wakes up every morning, no matter if he spent 20 hours in Put in Bay, and does an hour stair stepper, no matter what. And
Verified, by
he's
the
got
way.
some crazy
I
discipline.
fact checked that. They said it does not matter, dude. He's there,
Yeah. So,
sweating it out.
so I'm like, man. So I see this guy, and I'm like, I'm too intimidated to come here. I couldn't do it. I literally left, and I went to YMCA, and it was free. And I worked out there for a year, and then I was like, now I got some muscle. I deserve to come back. and then I came back. So once the magic thing kind of fell through, because I kind of felt like I peaked. I was on MTV Made for a little bit before and all this, and when that didn't get picked, I was just like, well, now what? I don't know. So I just decided not to do it anymore. I joined a breakdancing crew for a bit. That fell through after 2 years. And then I got, I want to be a bodybuilder. But I can't do it anymore on my own. That's when I hired my first bodybuilding coach, Brian, and kind of went from there, learned more fitness to want to take it to the next level and get better. Obviously, my biggest resistance was the gynecomastia. And even the 2 shows that I did, I was bombed quite a bit for it. Steroid use, like instantly. And I'm like, no, I've had it since I was 9, but okay,
Ironically, yeah, a lot of PEDs can cause gynecomastia if you don't have your estrogen in check.
Oh, really?
But it does happen quite frequently to many adolescent and teen boys that were growing up, and their hormones through puberty just cause them to develop mass, and just their estrogen levels are unchecked. And probably being in the situation you're in, you probably didn't have a lot of great health care and stuff, so you weren't going to the doctor for it. The doctor couldn't send you to an endocrinologist to check your estrogen levels and your prolactin levels and things like that to make sure that they're in range. Otherwise, could have been maybe prevented, I'm sure.
I had it my whole life too. It's like if you watch my videos, I talk about orangutans.
Yeah, I did hear. I was just going to bring that up.
At a pool because of that. And like I've used that phrase to like change other men. But yeah, I had surgery from it in the Marine Corps because like the flak when I would wear my heavy ass pack and shit, it would hurt really bad.
Oh, I bet.
But I had to pay for it out of pocket because it's considered
Cosmetic.
It was like $7,000 and I was only making $800 every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Put me on the forever repayment plan.
There's a guy that pushes it through insurance. I know he's out of like Crystal Clinic, and if you go in there, even as like a bodybuilder, that it's not how you got it. Like I know bodybuilders are going like, yeah, I've had this since I was a kid, and he's like, oh yeah, for sure, we'll take it out, and he bills the insurance somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a real thing. So you mentioned like obviously processed foods and things like that, and fucking.
Well, I mean, to me, what's crazy is like you said that you paid $8,000. I paid luckily I think $5,600, but I have to come out of pocket to pay for this thing that almost pretty much ruined my childhood and made me who I am, which, God bless, it probably is a reason why I'm where I am and what I do. But then it's like at the same time, if I'm 12, 13, 20, 30, doesn't matter. And I'm like, I kind of want to just have a vagina today. And it's free now, covered under a health care. And put you through the whole protocol. Here's your testosterone, whatever you want.
Yeah, just shove you full of drugs and fucking ruin your life.
Really?
But you can't get more testosterone to be like feel more like a man.
Right. Even if you test that like bare minimum, you're like, that's still enough.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. When you go into that, you talk about all those different things when it comes to healthcare and stuff like that. That is insane. Well, that's like we're gonna have PH Performance on in a couple weeks, but one of the big things. I don't know if you guys you ever heard of Ways to Well.
Yes.
But they talk about like you go to your doctor's office and they could do a full blood panel whenever they want. And we would be able to pre-diagnose a lot of things like diabetes and all these different health things that we have years and years in advance of you actually getting it so that you can make a change in your life. But the pharmacy managers don't want to pay the doctors, the insurance companies don't want to pay the doctors to do that, because then if you do that and you start actually helping people and they don't get sick, well, guess what? Then we don't get all the money when they get sick, and we have to pump them full of these bullshit drugs that we're all sitting on.
We're in the business of keeping people sick.
RFK's going to fix that shit, though.
I hope so, man. That was a big part of his runs.
I have a story on that. I have a friend that was a doctor. He went to medical school, did all that, worked at a hospital for about a year. He was actually, instead of prescribing pills and all that, he was trying to make up health plans that would get him off the medication, eating plans that would get him off the medication. He actually got pulled aside by the hospital administrator, telling him, you got to prescribe more pills, you got to get people back on medication.
Know exactly who it was. He prescribed also like food for people and
healthy,
gym memberships, which is a thing.
Yeah, and he's like, and then eventually he's like, I'm tired of this. He's like, there's better ways of, instead of pills, shots, needles. He's like, I'm done. He literally left his practice, and now he does health. What's it called? Health training and all that stuff over the web now.
That's crazy.
Dude, I have a similar story when I was in the Marine Corps. My neighbor's wife was a therapist for kids, and they were like, you have to prescribe X amount a week. And 2 kids, so she ended up quitting too.
Oh, yeah. I had a really hard conversation with my wife. My son has maybe 3 or 4 vaccines, and right now we have like Medicaid, so it's like you have to go to a certain center to do it, and it's really inconvenient, but they do it. And then I'm like, I saw this post and did so much research, and it's like by the lifespan of a kid's age, I can't remember the exact number, but I believe it's about 172 vaccines that they get. And I'm just like, there's no way. I've had almost none, and I'm never sick, never. And I talked to her, and I was like, I'd rather just say for religious reasons, we don't want to do any vaccines.
Yeah.
And, eventually she started doing more research, came to the conclusion, and we're probably not going to do any vaccines for our kids as our choice. And my son still, he's almost 2, and he's never been sick.
Yeah, I love capitalism. I think capitalism is awesome, right? Except for in the healthcare industry, if that makes sense. Because like put it this way: when you break your arm, are you going to shop for the best deal? You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
When you need a medication and an authority is telling you that you need this, someone that you're trusting that went to school for 8+ years, so you need this medication, you're just going to take their word for it. It's not like going and buying a car and you could do your own research or whatever. No, you have to be able to trust your doctor, and you have to be able to go to the nearest place to get the best care. And so that's where, like, I think I'm generally a capitalist, but I think in the free market, the industry is messed up. And not to mention, right now there's like a shortage of IV bags. I don't know if you know about this or not.
No.
But there's a bunch of medical supplies that are on a shortage, especially these IV bags, because of the hurricane. Because the hurricane came in and took out the main facility that makes and distributes these IV bags. Well, it's like a proprietary thing for them. So now, because we only have one IV bag company, we have a shortage of all these bags.
Upcharge.
We don't have other companies to compete with this company because that's not how it works. They own the rights to it or whatever. I could be wrong on how I'm saying.
Yeah,
but on the logistics of it. But yeah, there's a huge shortage, and so like even when I got my drip today, they're like, oh, we can only give you a half bag because there's a shortage. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not paying for a half bag, so
well, they charge
where's
the price?
but
Still, like, I was like, I'm taking my time out of the day to come up here to get what I need. Like, give it to me,
yeah, that's insane.
Refill the bag, use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put tap water in it. Yeah.
My wife's a nurse. Well, she just retired because she's coming full time to work for me.
Oh, cool.
But like, seeing travel nurses get $70 an hour, like if you don't think that comes back on our hospital bills, are crazy. It was cool to see my wife make that kind of money, but every time she would, I'd be like, dude, we're paying for that.
Yeah.
Like we have the most expensive healthcare, and we died the most during the forever flu.
Yeah. Yeah. You're 100% right, man. And now we're paying the price afterwards too, right? And it's crazy because to this day, like, nobody will ever just say, like, it's funny. You ever seen those memes where it's like gym class in the 50s versus gym class now? And like everybody now is playing on their cell phone. And in the 50s, like you had a bunch of like 160-pound boys, which were almost looked more manly than half the 25-year-olds I see today. And they're like doing pull-ups. They're ripped with 6-packs, like because they ate better food, because they actually had to exercise in gym class. Remember, you had to actually do like a timed mile and push-ups and stuff like that. Now, like you can't do any of that because somebody's gonna get their feelings hurt because they can't do it. The parents are going to blame the fact that I don't have time to cook dinner. I don't have it. Look, my parents, even on our hardest time, could make ground turkey for sloppy joes, and that was a lot better than buying something in a box that you're buying now or going to McDonald's. Every day I pass the McDonald's drive-through at 3:30, there's a line of 100 cars to go through their 3 lanes of their drive-through down the street because all these people are leaving the school they just picked up their kids at and are driving to get here. Let's just get you a Happy Meal real quick, instead of, having something at home that they could cook them that's a little bit healthier. And then you wonder why so many kids, like you talked about, 75% of men are overweight right now. I just saw something the other day. It was like 62% of kids are already overweight. Like
I'm obese tier 1 technically, but
Me too.
Fast food used to be a rarity. Like growing up, I would go like once a month, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, we got it!" And now like
McDonald's,
people go all three meals.
Yeah.
Parents are taking their kids, and they're like, "Why can't we afford to live? Like you're spending $100 a day on fast food."
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy because you talk about $100 a day. Like you're right. Like Friday night, like it'd be a big deal with like me and the family, or my dad we would go out to Montrose, and basically you went window shopping because you have enough money to buy anything. But like you might go to the mall or go to Best Buy or something, and then you'd stop at Taco Bell, and like we're all like, sweet, we're getting Taco Bell, and this is when it's like a 79-cent burrito. Yeah, dude, you get a taco for 80 cents. Now you go to Taco Bell and a regular bean burrito is like $2, and it's like, so like, yeah, now you get a burger or whatever and fries at McDonald's. It's like $12-13. I'm like, that is not cheaper than eating in. Like you can't use that excuse anymore.
To me, it's like you're just being lazy. Like, oh, I don't have time to cook, motherfucker. Let me check your screen time on your phone. Okay, bet it's 3 hours. I guarantee you, it's 2 to 3 hours a day.
If not 6.
If not 6, 7, 8. You have time to fuck around on your phone all day, but you don't have time to cook your kids dinner. Like, where are your priorities at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's fast food, I mean, you got to think, if you cook chicken and rice, whatever you're making, you leave it on the counter for 4 or 5 hours, you might get, sick. So if you're going in the drive-thru and you're getting your food in 20 seconds,
Yeah,
that food's cooked, done, and just sitting there waiting for you. It's It's not good.
Yeah, it's a recipe
All
for
processed.
disaster.
It's just sad you have to go to the store and look for grass-fed beef or pasteurized eggs, and just it should all just be that way.
That goes back to like the Thanksgiving thing you were talking about. Like they'll make fun of you, but like that's how we're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it's called a diet, and it's just how humans were created to eat.
and you know what I'll tell you too? When you follow a strict diet and you eat like pretty like normal food, when you have a free meal or a meal, like a special occasion, when you go out to eat, you know, out to dinner maybe once a week or once every couple weeks, that food will taste so much better to you than it ever has. If you eat that shit every
dopamine
day,
rush.
yeah, exactly, dude. If you eat that shit every day, you're gonna like. It's gonna be just nothing special. Oh, I just ate it, and then you're gonna have all these digestive problems. You'll be on the toilet, you know, all the time. It's not good. But if you eat healthy food all the time, then when you go have a pizza or whatever, you're like, man, this is awesome, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Kyle, now you mentioned that your wife's going to come work for you, and obviously we talked a little bit about joking about some hate that you got. So let's hear your story a little bit. Obviously, you lost a ton of weight. Did that on your own, I'm assuming, or was that kind of through? And then, you know, what was that process? Could you quit drinking? Kind of found something spiritually as well as far as like internally. Let's hear a little bit about your life and where
I
you're
was
at.
just sitting at that desk one day, and I'm like, I cannot do this for the next 40 years. And I used to be a fitness coach, and then I got canceled on the internet, and so I'm like, fuck, I make $100,000 in the corporate world. I don't need these douchebags talking shit to me on the internet. So then I got off social medias, but I just didn't feel like I was living a life of purpose. So I started losing weight, and like my business, I give all my credit. Wes Watson's the one that taught me how to monetize and make as much money as I do. Minimum, I make like $1,500 a day now.
Wow.
Just because I'm always going viral. If a million people are watching you a day, it's easy to sell a $750 package.
Wow.
The internet, you don't need a lot of followers because some of my clients don't even follow me because like they just don't like social media. It's like they'll find me, they'll sign up with me, and then I move on. And I changed my family tree, my kids' lives, my wife's life. I got to retire her. And it all just started with just feeling like I didn't have a purpose anymore. And I just wanted to find my purpose. So I hired a mentor and I got back into coaching. I lost all my weight. And my story is really what gets me the most clients because you'll have these fucking fitness people on here, like a 20-year-old kid that's shredded just because he's young, trying to
Genetics.
sell like a 30-year-old person a plan. And that fucking kid has no life experience. Like no one's going to listen to you. Like I was a Marine Corps veteran. I was extremely high in the corporate world. I started out the bottom level in the corporate world and became a plant manager making $100,000 within 2 years. And then I have an ISSA Master Trainer certification, a Six Sigma Black Belt, which is like I can save a business $1 million a year. So I package all that into just a giant mindset program, and I set myself apart because I say like crazy shit on the internet. Like, I'm like, if you don't like me, suck my dick from the back, and it just people go nuts. Like, bro, no one says shit like this anymore.
Dude, the Lean Sigma 6 thing is a real deal too.
And
A
it's
lot of
hard to
companies are like
pass.
that. Yeah, that's
Like,
no joke.
People
Yeah.
like talk shit. I'm like, bro, I'm way more intelligent than you also. Because they're like, you have tattoos, you must be an idiot. Like, bro, I will fuck you up in an IQ test.
Yeah.
Like I have a Six Sigma Black Belt, Agile, Scrum, Human Resourcing, Business Management. And I was like so big. I was a project manager and a plant manager, and they wanted me to do the plant management over all businesses from Spain to Mexico to my China, like all of them, bro. And like, so when people come on the internet, they're like, I bet you don't even know how to spell. Like, bitch, I have a best-selling book. Like,
Yeah,
you guys just
ChatGPT
speak on
now,
the
we don't need
internet, bro. It's crazy. Like, the internet is full of fucking losers trying to tell people that are actually doing something to change.
Well, and I think that's too, you get in those 20-second clips, like people hear one thing, they don't know anything about you, so they just stop. Like as soon as somebody doesn't hear something they like, they're like, oh, fuck this guy, talk a bunch of shit.
Discredit it.
Right. Whereas if they would actually dig into it, like, you know, yeah, you might talk some shit, you might say some things that are harsh, but at the same point in time, like you still care, you want people to get better, you want people to improve their
Or
lives.
they just make shit up, bro. Like, like one video went viral, and they're like, "We heard you got kicked out of the Marine Corps," and everybody started repeating it like it was true. So I post my DD 214. They're like, "Oh, you let comments get to you?" I'm like, "You guys are losers will do anything to make you lose."
Can't win, dude.
Like
Cannot.
the same thing, like you were bringing up, oh, it's just steroids. Like, but like if you weren't on steroids, it'd be like, oh, you're not even in that great a shape. Like,
Yeah.
They just flip the narrative as soon as they want to try to ruin your image.
They just
Yeah.
need something to make themselves feel better
Yeah.
about their underachievements.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
All right, so now are you doing it for only veterans? You helping other people in general
So,
too? Like, how
the
do you get
reason
your
I
clients?
Just say veterans the most is because I want to have a sober house in every single state eventually. Like my ultimate goal is to get the 22-day number down by before I die.
That's awesome.
But I coach everyone. Like my motto is making better parents through tough love because they need that. Like that needs brought back to tenfold. Like if you're fat and your belly's hanging over your belt buckle, someone needs to tell you like, bro, you should not look like that.
Yeah.
And if your kids are fat, you should smack yourself in the fucking mouth because that's child abuse.
Yeah.
And like I'm going to tell you that. And if you don't like me, I don't give a fuck because that heart attack isn't going to ask permission before it kills you. I watched someone die, shit and piss themselves because of a heart attack, and he was 40. When we cracked open his semi, nothing but Mountain Dew bottles and fast food wrappers fell out. It doesn't matter if I called him fat the day before and then offended him, because a fucking heart attack don't care about your feelings, bro.
Yeah.
A stroke doesn't care about your feelings. Like, oh, none of it cares. None of it matters. And like, they'll come on the internet and people like that do gear, they're like, oh, you're gonna die so soon. Dude, Arnold's still alive. Sylvester Stallone's still alive. But all these motherfuckers are dying at rapid rates, and cancer's at an all-time high. But they like pinpoint one thing, like steroids are bad. Like, but all this shit we do because America makes so much money off of it, they act like it's good.
Yeah.
And it's fucking mangling us, bro. We're at like the highest heart attack rate in the world.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah, just in general, the United States is not one of the healthiest. We talked about a couple episodes about like, you know, how food is different in these other countries, how, you know, things like that. But we have so much more capability here in this country, but I mean, obviously technology's kind of made it a little bit easier for kids to just sit in their, you know, their room, or God forbid, sit in the schools. Like the fact that the schools let these kids be on their phone during the day fucking boggles my mind. I complained about it during COVID all the time, because I'm like, I get it that they can't move around, they got to be a distance, but like, you have like 30 kids on the playground sitting in their own individual corners by themselves on their cell phone. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
it makes dumb people feel smart, because I like let's say you'll say something about bodybuilding, some fucking goofball kid in his mom's basement will Google the exact opposite answer.
Yeah.
Because you can get any answer you want.
100%.
You're fucking wrong, bro. It's this. Like the science-based lifter, like
Yeah,
we were talking about Mike and Jeff. Like he antagonized that dude, then he did what he needed to do, and now the internet's like, you're a bad guy. Like if I don't like you, don't come to my fucking face.
right.
Like everyone's playing victim nowadays, and like they think they're so intelligent because they can Google the opposite. But you can get any answer you want in today's society. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, let's talk about this though. So, going into the new year, if somebody's trying to get in shape and they start going to the gym, how do you guys select the gyms that you guys work out? Like, what? I mean, you talked about yours a little bit. The first time you went into a gym was a little intimidating. You know, we talked about Planet Fitness and how, you know, not
Yeah,
the
if
ideal.
you go into the gym and there's a lunk alarm, leave. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
So here,
Find your personality. In the gym.
Yeah.
Like Ontario looks like grungy and gangster, and that's how I grew up. So like that's why I relate to that one.
Sure.
Medina's the same way.
Yeah.
It just matches my personality. Just find something that matches your personality. And I have a Planet Fitness membership because I travel so
Same
much.
here.
But, I mean, it's more judgmental than all the gyms, and it claims it's not
100% judgmental.
The most toxic gym of all the
Yeah.
gyms. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've got a great model. Just sign up everybody so it's cheap enough they never cancel.
They're too lazy.
Like I saw a stat the other
100%
day.
how it works, yeah.
Yeah, so I saw a stat the other day that the average Planet Fitness membership nationwide attends the gym 3 to 5 times a year and has had their membership for over 5 years.
It's like Netflix, dude. Like you sign up for Netflix, you're like, $10 a month, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna never watch it, you know, whatever. I'm watching Hulu or whatever, you know, and you have all these subscriptions. Then all of a sudden you're like, shit, dude, I spend fucking $150 a month in subscriptions I don't use.
Yeah, you ever see those commercials for like, what is it? It's like Rocket something or whatever, where it'll tell you how many subscriptions you have. I was like, I don't see those ads anymore. I was like, Netflix probably fucking got that
But
fucking
if you
shut
call-
down.
If you call Planet Fitness and try to cancel it, like you have to come in person. So that's why no one cancels.
Yeah.
Well, and they put them in like pretty nice areas too, because number one, like rich people, they want like a clean facility, which they provide. They're not gonna show up as consistently as maybe people that aren't as busy working and stuff, whatever, that aren't like, you know, working 60, 70 hours a week to, you know, maintain their lifestyle. you
Sure.
know? So, yeah, it's a great business model. They do the model itself is really good. I actually have a friend who has a similar model. He has a really cheap gym membership, but it's more of like what you want Planet Fitness to be. So it's called Fit for You in Parma. They have one in Parma, one in Massillon, and it's kind of cool. It's like you could tell like a bodybuilder took that business model, but then picked out all the equipment because they're all like Cybex and lifestyle equipment, brand new, really nice shit. Then he's got like a Pit Shark belt squat, which is like the godfather of all belt squats. They have a pendulum squat. Some hammer strength, really nice hammer strength equipment, but it's set up really nice, clean gym. Like you could eat off the floor type of stuff, and it's cheap. It's like $15 a month, and you
Wow.
know, people just like they just roll with it because it's so cheap. you know?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Crunch Fitness, I travel a lot. They're the same way. It's like what Planet Fitness should have been.
Yeah,
they're
I
a little
do-
bit more expensive, but
Yeah, I like Crunch.
yeah, they're like real gyms though.
Yeah.
But they're still cheap compared to like other
For sure.
gyms.
Yeah.
Like Kim, like I was saying, I also have a Planet Fitness membership. I go there maybe once or twice a week. And the hardest thing about beating a Planet Fitness is for $20 a month to get tanning.
Yeah.
Tanning place is $60 to $80 a month if you really get a good tanning bed. Now pay $20. Now you have a tanning membership. You have a gym that you can go no matter where you travel because there's one everywhere.
Everywhere.
So that's just convenient no matter what to at least stop in somewhere. And it is pretty much 24/7. So
Yeah.
like if I'm doing arms or shoulders, which I just need a set of dumbbells usually,
Yeah.
I'll go to Planet Fitness. That way I can just tan real quick. And then the bigger muscle groups, I'll actually do at a real gym.
Do you ever have like a problem when you go in there with people like talking to you or like bro, what's the secret or whatever, and they like 'cause I get harassed when I'm going to Planet Fitness.
I mean, for the most part, at mine in Kent, they've all been pretty nice to me. I would even say I've even picked up a couple of clients, and even like if I'm posing or just like checking myself out, no one ever says anything. I've never been lunk alarmed. I think they're a lot more understanding than that. And even me being a bigger guy, I know what it's like the Bill situation, to be intimidated. I don't want to make someone feel like their goals are lesser.
Yeah.
So I usually don't really dress what I normally dress to the gym.
Yeah.
But I'll see these guys wear 20 times worse than I wear at my gym at Planet Fitness, and I'm like, are you allowed to wear that? I don't know. I'm all right, not my business.
No, you guys all go to Planet Fitness, like.
Well, I don't. I actually got kicked out of one.
Okay, I got kicked out of them twice.
I've never been kicked out, but I've been lunk alarmed once, maybe twice.
I got kicked out of
They
a
asked me to
No,
leave. Yeah.
since you guys still go, do they still have like not donut day, bagel day or pizza day? Since when I was
I go
last
like
went?
3 a.m. So I have
Okay,
no
I-
idea.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
I don't think they do that anymore. I think they got a lot of slack for that.
I got rid of
Okay.
the Tootsie Rolls too. I don't see
Okay.
that.
Oh, I still see the Tootsie Rolls at the Medina
Really?
one. Yeah, Medina's got
They
them.
don't
But
have them in
I agree. I mean, it's convenient. Like, I travel for work. I'm in all the way from southern Ohio to the very south, and then all the way up to the very north of Michigan. So, like, I can always guarantee, like, and then even when I travel with my wife or if I go out with towns with friends or something like that, like, I know there's always a Planet Fitness, like, within 20 fucking minutes of everywhere and anywhere, which
They're
makes it
rebranding
convenient to at least
too,
get
though.
in there. What's that?
They're rebranding now. They're putting deadlift stuff, and they're actually getting rid of the lunk
I
alarm.
know. I actually
Well, so-
mine just got plate loaded equipment,
Yeah.
a turf,
Yeah.
Olympic weights.
Wow.
Time. Well, probably after that transgender and the
Yeah,
bathroom.
Yeah.
That's 100% what happened, bro.
Yeah.
They lost so much money, so they're trying to, because like they're running ads right now. It just popped up on my Instagram, like you're paying all this for real gyms, and Planet Fitness is actually now going to be a real gym. And it
Wow.
like showed like the
least they know.
deadlift platforms, and it shows like no lunk. Yeah, but it's 100% because they got canceled, bro. They lost like $800 million in a day.
Yeah, it was.
The safe gym is going to let dudes in the women's restrooms.
Dude.
Yeah, that seems good. You know?
Dude, that conversation go on for hours. That boggles my mind. That's like I heard somebody on posted on Facebook the other day, and I know they're extreme liberal, and they're like, oh, Trump supporters are so happy now because they're obsessed with other people's genitalia. I'm like, dude, I just don't want my fucking daughter to have to share a bathroom with a man. Like, I don't care if he thinks he's a woman or not, dude.
Bro.
The problem is it only takes one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you let every guy say that they can pretend to be a woman and walk into a fucking girl's bathroom, if you let every person do, eventually someone's going to take advantage of that. That'd be like saying, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be like saying, like, I mean,
Dude,
it just.
if they had that in high school, I'd be like, I'm a woman. Let me get in the shower. Dude.
I get so much hate. I didn't even know other motherfuckers thought like me. It's like you guys cut open my brain and say the same shit I say. Like they lose their fucking minds when I say like I had this shield. It was like I reshared it. It's like a guy underneath, like his kid was underneath holding a shield, and it was like the rainbow coming.
Oh my
Somebody's like,
gosh.
you're so fucking
That's a great one.
transphobic. I'm like, yeah, I am very scared of them talking to my kids, bro. Leave my kids alone.
Yeah, dude.
I don't give a fuck what you do, but like the fact that they're like flying it in schools, bro.
Yeah, they're promoting
Just teach
it.
my
Yeah.
fucking kids how to
English.
get a good job.
Yeah.
I don't like this lady came online. She's like, these parents took their kids out of my class because I'm transgender. Like that's so unfair. Like fuck you, bro. Everyone should have took their kids out.
Yeah, stop telling everybody that you're transgender. Like that's the other
Just-
thing. Like I don't give a fuck. Like the
Me
point
either.
is that they make it a big deal. Like that you have to like.
Yeah,
Do
you
not
do
tell
what
my
you
kids
want.
that. Harvard ran a study that the people that are gay or transgender, that what they were around when they were younger has a significant impact on it.
I'm
so
sure.
like all these people repeating like it doesn't matter if they're around it. Like that's not what the fucking studies say. You guys just hope it sticks and people keep repeating it.
Yeah, it's insane. And once again, it's something to focus on to take away from all the other problems. Which going back to what we talked about is health and people taking more focus on themselves and being better. And like you said, you guys have kids. I have a daughter. Everybody at this table except Evan. So get to working, babe.
Thank God.
You better.
I like traveling too much. I like adventuring
They
around
can
the
travel.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. Take the kids with you, dude.
Homeschooling in the
Dude.
truck, I don't know.
Yeah, they make backpacks. You just throw them in, dude. Bundle them up and
Bro,
roll
I had,
out.
I had one of those, like the baby joint for my
one.
daughter. Yeah. Dude, I carry everywhere that thing. I didn't give a fuck, dude. I was like, all right, whatever.
Dude, I believe that because I remember. I'll never forget. We walked into the skating
your
rink
rucking.
one time. Yeah, it's your rucking. Yeah, every day, ruck with your kid on your back, dude.
I
Bob,
literally posted yesterday. I'm holding my daughter on the stair stepper because she was crying. My wife was too overwhelmed. I'm like, all right, I'm doing cardio. I'm on level 1 because I'm carrying this 20-pound shit bag.
dude, I seen Nick in the skating rink the other day, skating around with his kids. He's got a big old dude wearing this extra small shirt with a big fanny pack on the top.
right now.
Yeah.
Marlboro Reds.
I'm like, look at this gym dad, dude, just out there getting it on some roller skates with his kids.
That's
Like,
good cardio.
yeah, it is. And I think when it comes to the fitness community too, and how these kids are, and it really comes to the fact that you guys are all fathers, you're all involved with your kids' lives, right? Like it's what you're teaching them right now. Like you mentioned, like if you're letting your kid get fat, well, you know, it is a choice. Like as a parent, you have that choice to say, hey, let's go exercise together. Let's go do something together.
I'd say it's a responsibility,
That's
not
a
even just a
100%
choice.
Yeah.
responsibility. You
Yeah.
should fucking smack yourself if your kid's obese.
Yeah, and
You're setting them up to get picked on like we did, but we didn't have a choice because we had gyno.
yeah.
Like, and then people are like, well, they shouldn't bully, but bullies fucking exist, bro. So
Yeah.
just fucking don't set your kids up for failure.
That's
Yeah.
that whole like what do they talk about like with the kids and the essay? I don't want to say something that will get you canceled, but oh, we should teach our men not to do that. Well, of course, but you should also teach your women how to protect themselves too, because
100%.
it's going to happen whether you like it or not. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, and that's how it goes.
I don't understand society. They're like, well, they just shouldn't do that. Well, they fucking do, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and America's still one of the safest countries. Go somewhere else with that shit, bro.
Yeah.
Go be a transgender and the motherfucker will blow your head off if you walk through the.
Yeah, fucking. You talk about like, it's free Palestine.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
go ahead and be a
Yeah, go over
transgender
there.
and fucking.
Yeah, go wear your dress over there. Brother.
Yeah.
We'll have free Palestine in it. We'll have like the rainbow flag. And a
blows
bunch of
my
shit.
fucking
Dude,
mind,
I
like-
screenshot it every time and just send it to my friends. Like, look at these fucking.
Do
they're
you realize
sheep,
you'd be
bro.
fucking like chopped in half
Dude,
like the
for
second you
sure.
walked over there?
You know what's crazy is you know how many gay people I know that are like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like they, like I know some like pretty reasonably good gay people that are like, yeah, no, dude, this isn't good for anybody. I'm not like that. I don't want to be involved in that.
I can show you screenshots. I have tons of gay clients because they're like, dude, I'm old school gay. I love your shit. Like, everyone's sick of this shit.
My wife's one friend's gay, and he's like, he's pretty cool dude. He's a conservative, he's a Trump supporter. He actually has a hard time dating dudes, which is funny. But he's like, I'm not gay. I'm just a dude that likes dudes. I'm like, you're gay, Scott. It's cool, man. Just whatever. Just don't, whatever.
But when it comes to that kind of thing, if you're like Bruce Jenner and you're that old and you want to be Caitlyn Jenner, bro, it's your life.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
It's my 12-year-old.
But
Well-
when you're signing a paper like, hey, you can treat my kid at the school, and as soon as you sign that, you now give the school the consent to examine your child, and they can actually prescribe your child a sex change in school and not inform you. So now your child can be going through a sex change, and by 15, your son's now a daughter. You didn't even know he's doing that, and they don't tell you. And the fact they can do that, I was so scared. Like, I'm so scared to put my kid in school with that. Like, I don't want that to. They don't know what they want yet. If they want to be a change gender when they're 40, like, I mean, all right.
If I caught one of them
but-
outside, I would do the most heinous shit to them if they did that to me.
It's
I
just
promise.
insane. Like, I can't.
Think about this though. A lot of these parents that aren't that their kids this is happening to them. I would venture to say they're probably not super involved in their kid's life because they're not getting, or they're not teaching their kid good values. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you teach your kid good values at a young age, like I think about that, and I just think about like my 3 kids. Like if anybody came up to any of my 3 kids and were like, "Do you feel like you want to be another gender?" They'd be like, fuck no. You know what I mean? Like, are you kidding? Like, my boys are like, oh, yeah, I'm gay. But that's what you do when you're 16. Pretend like you're gay even though you're not gay. It's actually kind of gay if you don't pretend like you're gay.
Right.
So,
Right. Like if you're in the locker room before a football game, you're like, dude, fucking, why are you looking at my dick? Like, that's like normal. Like, that's okay. But
this last Saturday, I don't drink, and I got really messed up because I had this event at the Schwitz. I don't know if you heard of that.
This is really cool, actually. Yeah.
So I go to this thing. It's called the Schwitz. Like my 3rd time going. It's down in deep East Cleveland, and it's mainly just guys. So you go there. It's a guys' day from 2 to 8 to 9. A couple hours, 6-7 hours. So you get in there. You change in the locker room. You're only in a towel, so you're pretty much nude. You drink and you eat and you order like a burger and you'll have dinner there. And then when you're done drinking or when you want to, you go to the basement. In the basement is a 240-degree sauna. Then you jump in a pool that's in ground, which at the time was 30 degrees outside, so it's cold as shit. Then you get out of the pool for 2 minutes, get back in the sauna. You do that like 5-6 times. You go back upstairs, you drink, you come back downstairs, do it again, and you repeat the cycle for 6-7 hours. And like I'm telling this to my wife, she's like, "Are you gay? Why are you?" I'm like, "It's not like that. It's a good time, and you can't have your phone, which is great. So you're forced to socialize with these people." And it's phenomenal. I mean, the 20 shots I could have done without. But aside from that, it was
dude,
phenomenal.
just thinking about all that alcohol and then being in the sauna, but then you get in the cold. Then you get in the cold. You're like, all right, I'm ready to go.
I didn't realize how drunk I was because I don't really drink. I've drank maybe like 12 times in my life.
Oh, wow, okay.
'Cause I just never really drank. And when I just had all the drink. Yeah, I feel great. And my father-in-law was driving me home because he drove and he's sober. And then I'm like halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so drunk. I was messed up for 2 days. I called off work halfway through Monday even. I'm like, yep, it's hitting me now.
Dejan was telling me the story the other day, and I'm like, huh. Well, the hot and the cold thing, that's good for like anti-inflammatories, good for muscle recovery. But that's cool. I'm like, I wonder if the alcohol like thins your blood, so that way maybe it helps blood flow a little bit more. Like I'm thinking, trying to like justify this in a science way.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No, it's just a bunch of dudes getting naked, getting drunk.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Great time.
All right, hold on one second. I gotta check something. I'm getting nervous.
Was it the camera?
Do you have to drink if you go to that?
No, my father-in-law's sober. He doesn't drink at all.
I want to go to one of those. But
That's
I don't drink.
amazing.
That sounds so fun.
It's $150.
Oh, I'm
and
down.
you get a burger or a steak, and then it's like a 20-ounce steak. It's huge. Or they grind up the burger, and you get a salad, some sides. They got drinks and the thing. And then my group, I had 12 guys. We all brought like charcuterie boards, snacks, and other things to eat and drink. So we have snacks on top of the dinner, and we just eat and come down and just do it a bunch.
That's exactly what dudes are missing in today's society.
100%. Honestly, the biggest thing that's the best part of it is the fact we all leave our phones in the locker and just are forced to socialize with who's in front of you, not check on our phones.
Yeah,
or anything.
exactly.
That-
Yeah.
Bro,
It sounds so simple that anyone could do it, but it's when you're forced that's a rule, you're like, wow. It's
You'll
just
realize
crazy.
how addicted you are to your phone too, because
Oh,
like
yeah.
the whole like.
Well, especially all of us, we're all business people.
Yeah.
We have to be on our phone.
Yeah, my
I wish I
screen
could
time
take
is
a
like 16 hours a day.
I want to take a month off.
Same.
Like, let me just take a month off, and I can't because I'll lose the algorithm, I'll lose the traction. And
Yep.
just like, fuck.
Yep.
The best thing I ever did, dude, I just hired a virtual assistant in my
I have one.
inbox, so I don't have to touch my DMs at all. Like
I
he
only
even
do
trolls
DMs.
people.
He does all the other stuff.
Yeah, he does DMs and everything. He even trolls people for me. Best thing I ever did though, I got so much time back. I never used to be able to do these, bro, because like 2 hours is like I'd miss so many DMs.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, like, even me, I only work 4 days a week right now because my kids are so young. I don't want to miss out on these times.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit for what you guys are doing on an aspect of social media, because I'm interested in that. Like, how are you guys building that? How are you guys? What is it taking for you to do that? And how do you have time to do all that while you're still going to the gym? Like, how do you fit that into your routines? Like, because obviously running a business at the same time that you're trying to take care of yourself isn't easy.
You just gotta prioritize that first. I run 2 businesses, so I do this, and then I'm scaling an insurance agency that I already got 100 people underneath me for, and I'm constantly doing something, and I just know like it's gonna pay off later. So like I don't do a lot of fun stuff, but I mean, and then I hired my virtual assistant to help like do all my DMs, so that gave me a lot of my time back, and then I just post on my stories consecutively. That shows people my personality, and that's how I do all my sales. And I post 5 reels a day, and that's how I go so viral. It just increases your chances of going. Like I have one right now that has 350,000 views that I just posted yesterday.
Wow.
Like it just repetitive over time. Eventually, and then once you pick up one viral moment, the next one will go viral, or an old one will go viral. So now I'm at the momentum to where like I'm getting like 100 followers a day. It just took like a year and a half of like consistency.
Yeah, I would say that's the big part of it. And what about you, Dan? Because I think you've got like 40 or 50,000 followers. Is that mostly from the training that you do and stuff like that, or is it just people that want to learn
More
stuff?
branding than training. So big thing is when I first started trying to get big, I got sponsored by this place called Do You Even Lift? And it was like a clothing brand. And then I did collabs with them, and I started getting some followers of the brands. I'm like, man, if I just do more brand stuff and like tag them, they'll share me. Those people who like that brand will see me, and they might share me as well, and vice versa. So then I got into, and when I was younger, as much as possible, tagging this company, this company, this company, traveling to different gyms, tagging that gym, being in that gym. And then there's a monetization program where you can like pay, and they'll share your post and pretty much shout it out and get you likes, followers, etc. So every time I knew there was a post with a brand in it, I would monetize it with this company, and it was an investment. But then that way it would bring the likes up so high that if you were to look up the location or anything, I'll be in the top 12 squares.
Oh,
so
wow.
whoever looks up the location, no matter how old it gets, I have so many likes on it that person will always see me. And that gives me a lot of followers and tractions from that, no matter what gym I go to. So if you go to any gym that I've been to and you look up the location, I'll probably be in the top 15 squares, and you'll see something that I did there, which is cool.
Yeah.
So that's something that just keeps my exposure out there at all times. And then over time, it's just I paid a company to get an initial like spike, and then that just gives you that initial credibility. Like, who's this guy? Oh, 700 likes. I'll just like it because it has a lot of likes.
Yeah.
And then that number just grows from there too. So it was an investment for sure. You just hire a company, and now I'm at the point where I just pay an assistant to go on, like people's posts, comment on their pictures, because I don't have time to sit on there, scroll endlessly. And it's also not healthy for me to scroll endlessly. I'm going to see this guy, man, this guy's really jacked. Chris Bumstead, I can't look like that. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm a shitty bodybuilder. But
Yeah.
It's, sadly, I'm part of that culture, and I try to be a little bit more healthy in making people's mindsets than always posting the good sides of me. Like I posted, I was in the hospital a year ago for 5 days, and I was just completely like wrecked from the UC that I had. And I posted that part of my journey and like how I lost so much muscle. And people need to see that. They got to see you fall down. If they don't see you fall down, they think you're perfect. And then when they're not perfect, like you said, the next day they're like, all right, well, I'm going to go sit on the couch for a week.
It's relatable. Yeah.
So
I just had eye surgery, and people loved me showing that.
is that the tattoo?
No. The wood stuck in there, bro. But I was making it funny at the same time, and like people were like, "Dude, I started following you more when you posted your eye surgery."
Yeah, the more
Got
relatable
this
you can
Kano
be,
vibe going.
yeah, the more relatable you are to people, the more genuine followers you get, and people that can relate to you, and they're gonna follow you. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's just, and everyone tries to be fake or post what the people want to see, and yeah, you will probably get followers, but that's not going to be sustainable. If you just post you and people follow you for you, those people are going to stick around. And
Well, those are the people you want to follow you anyway,
100%.
right? Like you want people that are like you, that are into the same stuff. So let's get into a little bit about what your company does now. Obviously, you do posing, you do bodybuilding, but you help regular people that want to just get back into shape too. Is that right?
Yes. So pretty much all walks of life. I mean, at this point, I would say so. I have a partner, Mike Eli, and he's kind of like the reason the company really blew up because he's been doing this for over 30 years. So he's the brains, the bronze, everything. I do a lot of more of the social media, the monetizing, the advertising, the showcasing of what he does. And the fact that we do everything together as he does things with clients, we usually do like a group chat. So let's say Nick's one of our clients. Me and Mike will have a group chat with Nick, and everything Nick asks us, I'm there to also respond with Mike, etc., and remind Mike to respond because he's getting older. So, it helps. And that's kind of how I also learn now to end up being a higher level bodybuilding coach like him by seeing what he's doing, why he's doing it. He's teaching me along the way. So over the course of 3-4 years that we worked together, I've learned a lot of things under him. So what I really try to set, we segregate our work. That way we don't get overflowed. He'll always do the dieting because the food can really get really complex sometimes, especially depending on the person, the conditions, the genetics, medications, all that. And I'll do more of the workouts for people. And it's not that he can't do the workouts. Just that way I have the load that I can handle. And I love science-based lifting. I love hardcore lifting. I love failure training. I love the training aspect of things. So when I can program a nice program for somebody and watch their block for 3 to 4 weeks and then adjust it to what they need, that's what I thrive in a lot. So that side of the business, I usually stick to doing the people's training protocols while he does the dieting, because there's a lot more that can go wrong with the dieting than training, as long as you're not an idiot, which I can't see half the time anyways. I'm not going to program deadlifts to an 80-year-old woman. I might, but I most likely won't. So that's kind of how we like split the load to do our company. So that's how we do our training side of things. And then as far as the posing side of things, people now have luckily seen our company enough to know what we do, and our word has reached out. So people kind of hit us up. People come in. I do all the divisions, men, women, teach them posing. It's very fun watching me do bikini posing. It's not preferred, but it's definitely.
I didn't think about that, but obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, yeah, I know Evan loves going to do the photo shoots. I can tell. I know when your posing clinics are because Evan's Instagram is like filled with all the photos he's taken of all these different bodybuilders, which kudos to these fucking people because they are fucking killing it, dude. Some of them look ridiculous, but I never thought about the aspect of a male coach having to teach posing to a woman at the same time. Like when you're like bent over trying to flex those ass cheeks for the judge.
It's easy because it's 2 to 4 poses, but it's the flow, the way they have to move to make it look girly and all that. And
Yeah.
I had a client the other day. I was trying to tell her, like, your posing looks good. You're technically correct on almost everything. But she had no sass. She's real robotic. I'm
Like no womanness to
you have
it.
to
Yeah.
look like cute and sexy and like, but like not like, but also professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you can't be a hoe.
yeah, like
Yeah.
business.
Moon pose banned.
Yeah, think like sexy office lady, not like stripper. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so it's difficult, and a lot of times all my female clients I make go get a posing coach, and depending on who it is, like for bikini I use a girl. Her name's Verishka Andrade, which I've talked about her a little bit on the podcast before. She's a really good IPB pro and posing coach. So I send most of my females to her, but yeah, it's just you have to have somebody to kind of teach them that because it is what it is. And it's good. That's one thing about Mike and Dejan that they have that's great is they have a little bit of they complement each other very well. Mike's very old school. Dejan's a little bit of new science knowledge type of person. Mike is good with like you said the meal plans and things like that. Dejan's gonna make the workout plan, so they work very well together. Yeah,
It's badass you got him more on social media too, because I've heard of him before because he prepped one of my friends' girlfriends, and he was so underground, no one really knew about him.
Yeah.
But he coached a fuck ton of people, but he was
yeah.
never really on social media, so like he really didn't have like a massive name.
Yeah, he built a network the old school way,
Yeah.
right?
But
Like,
he's
Word of
he
mouth.
makes savages though. Dude.
He does. He's very strict and old school, and he yells at me all the time for doing my macro plans. Right, I'm like, Mike, let me just enjoy my off season. I'll get back on my diet in 2 weeks.
so for the average person, what do you guys like? What are some of your favorite workouts that you guys do personally? Like, not even whether it's just one exercise or it's a routine. And then, when it comes to diet, what's something simple that people can stick out? I'm interested in each of your guys' opinions that started you off, maybe.
So what's a simple diet for someone starting off? Calories in, calories out. I mean, the biggest misconception a lot of people where they fail is under eating. I mean, when you're under eating, your metabolism tanks. Now you're down. And then when you overeat and have 4,000 calories of chicken wings on the weekend because it's your cheat meal, now you're going to store all of that to replenish all those glycogens that you have pretty much depleted just from under eating so much, and your metabolism can't keep up with this roller coaster. Honestly, if you can try to find what your maintenance is, and that's pretty easy to do. You can literally just Google a calculator and type in a couple informations, and most people can find out what their BMR is about. But the easiest way to tell is eat consistent calories, whether it's through McDonald's, chicken and rice, or whatever you want, but just to find that caloric number. And if you gain a little bit of weight, cut it back a little bit. And now if you're plateauing at that weight, that's your basic rate. Dropping your calories about 200 to 300 under that can make you a healthy weight loss plan, not shut down all of your organs, your brain functions and all that. Because when you pull calories, things are going to have to tank and pull back so it can function properly. And by doing that, now you can optimally run while burning fat. And then when you have your refeed day, cheat day, whatever you want to do, then you replenish those calories to spike that metabolism back up so it doesn't adjust that BMR down. And now you can consistently continue losing weight at a gradual, healthy rate and not feel like shit. So that's the easiest thing to do for someone if they're just looking to get started and not overcomplicate things. Now, obviously, when you go to a bodybuilding level, things get boom. But if you're new year, new me, you want to get started, this is just an easy way to be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth and how much of it.
So when you talk about, like your meals and is eating 4 times a day better than eating 3? Is eating 5 times a day better than eating 3? Is eating twice a day better? Or is it just a matter of like a consistent level? And then is it when you first wake up till right before you go to bed? Any input on that aspect of it?
So there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, and there is a lot of different misconceptions and opinions that can work. What I tell a lot of people is when it comes to a diet, what works for you is going to be what you can do longevity. Like you said, the consistency, the discipline. So if you love keto or carnivore and you want to just eat meat and you can see yourself never having a slice of pie or rice, then that's the diet for you. But if you are miserable and you're forcing this, you're eventually going to cave, eat carbs, and you're going to get out of ketosis. It's not going to work for you. If you want a paleo diet or whatever diet you want to do, if you want to be a vegan, you can't do this as a phase. It has to be your lifestyle. So if you enjoy X, you got to find a lifestyle that can keep X in there while Y and Z is continuing to happen in your life.
Well, and the other thing too is with like the keto, because we talked about that a little bit too. A lot of people, that's where everybody starts. I'm gonna go keto, and they drop all this weight, whatever, and it's all water weight. We went over that before, but I got a lot of shit for that last time. Actually, I got like 3 people in my DMs like, "You don't know what you're talking about. You're uneducated." Oh, dude, it was crazy because we did a little short on it. And the one person in particular was like, they're like, "Oh no, your body goes into this glucogenesis where it creates blood glucose to stabilize its blood sugar, so you're not going to have all these problems." I'm like, go Google what happens when you're in that state for too long, and it'll show you like increased risks of diabetes, insulin resistance, all this stuff. So like, that's another big problem with some of these fad diets that are low carb or no carb or paleo diets, things like that, is that you're going to have health risks. Even vegan and stuff like that, you're going to have health risks because you're missing the minerals and the nutrients that you're getting from a well balanced diet. And that's where I really preach almost for all my clients, long term wise, that a well-balanced diet is the way to go. Now, you might have times, especially for bodybuilders and stuff, where, hey, we're going to go no carb or low carb for a little while, but then we're going to come back out of it. It's strategic. We know why we do it. But long-term wise, yeah, you're never going to eat a piece of bread again. You're never going to do this again. Your cholesterol's going to be through the roof because you're eating fatty meats all the time. That's not great. Your body's has to produce all of its blood sugar, so you could risk becoming diabetic at some point. Just not great, for some of that stuff. If you're vegan, you risk bone health and bone density problems. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. good stuff that comes from animal
Right,
protein.
and then no stuffing at Thanksgiving. And
Exactly. And then you cave and you're like, oh fuck, now I just gained 30 pounds because my body doesn't know how to process any of this food because I haven't eaten in 2 years or something.
now you have glycogen. You're about to get a pump tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So before we get into your favorite workout stuff, since we already started with you guys and Nick, you went into it a little bit. How did you lose all that weight? Did you diet a specific way? Did you just stop overeating? Like, what do you consider like a key to your success?
So this is like really where I specialize. This is where all my coaching comes from, is lifestyle coaching. Is like I just started off walking, and because most people don't even walk 10,000 steps, and I found it just like he said, like diet. It has to be something you can stick to, because 90% of diets fail, and it has nothing to do with the diet. It has to do with, well, my grandma lost 50 pounds on keto, so I want to try it. And I'm like, well, did your grandma gain it back? Yeah. So then why do you want to try it?
Right.
If someone told me they did something and then it failed later, like, well, I would not want to try that. So I just asked them, like, what do you like the most? Like, what kind of foods do you like? They tell me, and then I'm building a plan off of that. And it's just consistently showing up. And then I put them in a mindset group every Sunday, because humans by nature don't like to fail other humans. So if I hold you accountable, plus other people are going to come see if you failed or not on that Sunday, like the chances of you actually following it all week are really, really, really high.
Yes.
That's a great point, because once again we talked about community, but you're right. Like having that, I wish more coaches did stuff like that. So in this one book I read, and it talked about this diet by Tim Ferriss, and that's the one he's giving me shit for. But one of the things that one of his big things was take a picture of everything before you eat it. Because when you take a picture and it's in your phone and you're like looking at this picture of a fucking Reese's cup or something, and you're like, fucking you bitch, you're gonna fucking eat that Reese's cup. And like it worked. Like for the first month, I was like, I'd take a picture of it and I'd be like, dude, really, you're gonna fucking eat that? Like that's fucking crazy.
I've food audited clients before too. I'd be like, hey, when's your next meal? And they're like, 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, take a picture of it before you send it to me. Like, make sure they're eating what's on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're calling it Derek. Fuck, it's not cooked.
You can't, you
Is that
better
a
fucking,
raw chicken breast?
you better
Liver
leave
King
work.
today.
to go
So you were talking about that meeting. That's what you were doing tonight from the parking lot. So obviously you're like, hey, I'm dedicated to making this. Like I'll make time. So here you are, you're in a gym parking lot. You're about to do a podcast, and you got everybody on a call. Is it like a group call? Or?
Yeah, it's just a group call. And then like I audit my clients all the time, because I have my own app. And that, like, it shows when someone eats a meal, it shows when someone walks, and then it shows the group also, like X, Y, and Z walked for this long, and then the other dude's like, fuck, now I gotta walk. And it's like a snowball effect. You see the next person, like, you might not even have walked if that dude didn't walk.
Yep.
And now it's just pushing the next person. And then like we go in there and we just talk like unheinous shit. Like they all found me obviously from social media, so they have some kind of personality like me. And then it's a good way to network. Like if they have an online business where they sell hats, like they can be like, hey, like I sell hats, so then I tell them like only buy hats from this person, because we're all going to support each other.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then they get 10% off of every person they refer. So if they sell my year plan, which is $2,000, I give them $200. So they're making money off of being my client, getting in better shape, building a community. Like he was talking about community. Community is the biggest thing in success when it comes to fitness. And it's like a cult, bro. If someone talks shit about me, my entire fucking following will just bash them.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know how much I changed their lives, and then I own the insurance part too, so I can make them $100,000 a year working from home. So I've really, really changed people's lives. So it's just a massive brand and community. Like it's just I'm going for that Andy Elliott like vibe, where it's just cult like, and it works because people feel like they're part of a family they never had.
Yeah. So I don't do it so much on like the Guys Night podcast channels and social media, but like when I see somebody talk shit to me or make a comment about something on like my personal accounts, first thing I do is click into their profile, scroll back like 25 photos, and I'm like, you fat piece of shit. Go fuck yourself, dude.
Watch my
Like,
content. I posted on my story with the clown, like the circus noise.
yeah, like
roasted
I'm
my-
sorry, dude, but if you're gonna call me out, I'm gonna find out a little bit about you, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in your face. And
funny.
you know what? Yeah, it does make me feel a little bit better about myself. So go fuck yourself for that
It
too,
makes
because
me more money because people like me when I troll people.
oh, I'm sure.
They're like, yeah, fuck that guy.
And I try to be a nice guy. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to talk shit about everybody. Everybody's got their own life. But at the same point in time, like, if you're gonna come at me, like, then yeah, dude, you better be ready for the smoke, dude.
Back
Because
to the like everything has a consequence.
This
No such
keyboard
thing as an
warrior.
unsolicited punch.
Honestly, this keyboard warrior culture is such a fucking joke, dude. I hate it. Like I get the shit online all the time, and people DM me or talk shit to me or whatever. I'm like, Say it to my face. Like,
Facts.
please. I bet you won't. You know what I mean? And they hide behind a screen and, you know.
Well,
Someone
or they
just called
hide.
the cops on me like a week ago because they were talking shit, and I messaged them like, "What's up, bitch?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, bro, we're gonna get you for harassment." I'm like, "Bro, I'm still gonna harass you.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'll put my picture on a mugshot. Fuck you. To make me more money.
Yeah.
Just leave my name out of your fucking mouth.
Yeah, dude.
But that's how men used to be, bro. Like, all we're doing is being normal men.
Yeah, the best is when you get someone's like, "Oh, your client still isn't in shape." You're like, "Who is this?" Click, 4 followers, no pictures.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, dude.
Dude,
just
I blocked one person and blocked 4 people commenting on my thing because it was all one person acting like I had a bunch of hate.
Oh, my
because
God,
when you
dude.
block one and they're attached, it blocks all Instagrams they create.
nice.
Oh, I didn't
so
know
it
that.
literally blocked 4 different people.
So they were literally
they
just
make
set
it
up a
look
troll
like you have
account.
a bunch of hate, but it's them arguing with you on different
Oh
accounts.
my
Like,
god,
honestly,
dude.
how awful is their life to take
Horrible,
the time
bro.
to do that to you? Like
Right.
they could have just made at least $100 doing something else. Not
For
that.
sure.
Anything, dude. And I wish more people would like. And first of all, like the idea too is like, and we talked about it earlier, regards to something else. Like, have a conversation. Like, if you want to reach out and like you don't like something I'm doing or something, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I didn't look at it the same way. Let's just talk about it. But don't hide behind a keyboard, and definitely don't hide behind somebody else. Like, if you go to somebody else hoping what they're gonna like kick me out or they're gonna fire me or they're gonna do something else, like, dude, why don't you just talk to me about what's bothering you? Let's see if it's even that big of a deal. Or, hey, you know what? I've made good friends that way. It's like when you were kids, like everybody get into a fight in like elementary school or middle school, and then you were best friend. I'll never forget my first fight, dude. 4th grade, dude. And we had to tell the teacher we were shadow boxing, so neither of us got in trouble. And like, we became best friends all through elementary and into middle school. Like after that, like,
Stand up for yourself.
yeah, it was like just one of those things where like, yeah, we just whatever. We were arguing about something dumb, whatever, and then like you both don't want each other to get in trouble, and then like you end up having shit in common. That's why you're talking shit.
Yeah.
But
You know, that comes down to you knowing your value as a person too.
Yes.
Like, there was a guy who was hitting on my at the time girlfriend, and he was inviting her to come over to his garage, play beer pong, and she's like, "Oh, this sounds fun." I'm like, "Are you just stupid? Do you not know where this is? You're dating me. This guy wants to hook up with you." And so I added the guy. She doesn't have any pictures of me. She never posted any at the time, so he doesn't even know she has a boyfriend. So we're talking. We talk about fitness. He works out too, and I'm like, I'm bigger than this guy. I'm like, hey, you want to meet up at the gym and work out? He's like, yeah. And we met up at the gym. We talked. We worked out. He was a great guy.
It's like next level. dude.
We're in the locker room, and I'm like, by the way, you were messaging my girlfriend. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this so and so is my girlfriend. They're like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, no, it's okay. You're a cool guy, but now that you have respect for me, hopefully you just won't DM her anymore. And he never did, and we're still friends to this day.
yeah, and the girl's gone.
Yeah, like, it
Right?
doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and that's funny because that's how guys are. Versus like if that was like your girl, like and that happened that same scenario, she would stalk that other girl's freaking Instagram
100%.
account for 20 years.
Never ever be friends with them ever.
Did you?
10 years later.
Yeah. Did you like this photo 386 days ago? Be like, what photo? Who's this? I don't fucking know. Like,
Easier to make friends than enemies.
yeah, it is. And there's, you know what? Once again, it's just having a conversation to see where somebody's coming from. Is just an easier way to get it. So all right, let's talk about. We've talked about diet. We talked about what are you guys' favorite meals? Like, what's the meal that you guys can consistently eat that's easy to prep, smooth? Like, what is your guys' go-to?
You're gonna hate mine. It's chicken and rice. It's easy to prep. It takes a rice cooker with some chicken in an oven. I don't mind eating it all the time, and it gets the job done, and it's lean.
Now for the rice, do you add cinnamons? Because I know some people add cinnamon to
Nothing.
theirs.
Just literally jasmine rice.
Okay.
I've for 10 years now in a rice cooker. Press start. That's it. I can't cook for shit.
I put cinnamon in my rice.
put cinnamon?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's really good for digestion and anti-inflammatory.
I did hear that about cinnamon.
Yeah. I usually put a little sauerkraut in there too. Yeah, that's my
But also, chicken and rice is probably one of the easiest things to digest. And me having ulcerative colitis, like that's my go-to. And even cod is pretty easy. So like when I prep, it's chicken, rice, cod, and that's it. I don't have any vegetables. Vegetables fuck me up. They bloat me. I can't have any vegetables. So I take a green supplement, but literally no vegetables in my diet.
Yeah, I do. I do eat a lot of chicken and rice. That's probably my most ate meal. But my favorite meal, or like my go-to meal, like is I usually do like flank steak and sweet potato.
Flank's
Like, that's like my absolute favorite. So,
Yeah.
We also have to think the amount of food Monty eats here. Chicken and rice is going to be his budget friendly, especially having as many kids as he does and everything else. Like, would I like to eat giant jumbo shrimp? Sure, it's lean, but it's not going to be the same price.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny. Everybody's like, "You need to get a rice maker." I'm like, "I married one, dude. My wife I had to get a Puerto Rican or Asian, one or the other." You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I do chicken and sweet potato. Just like him, I have stomach issues too. So like if I don't eat clean, I'm fucked. Like I don't take any veggies because they completely bloat me. So I just do a veggie supplement and pre and probiotics, and I eat the same shit every single day. My life is very robotic. I'm just the same human every single day, and then I might change up and come do a podcast.
Let me ask you guys something real quick, and this is just like a correlation here, and I see this a lot. So, do you think that your stomach issues were caused by the food that you ate when you were a kid?
100%.
100%.
And
Definitely a
anxiety.
contributing factor.
Do you have anxiety? A lot of
no.
people with stomach issues have anxiety because brain and stomach go hand in hand. I think a lot of my shit was anxiety driven when I was younger. Because I ate like shit, and then I don't know, I had a really weird childhood, and so like I think that you just never grow out of it.
I find that a lot of the clients that I trained, like the ones that were like kind of garbage junk food eaters, that come and train, a lot of them end up having more stomach issues than people that had eaten a little cleaner throughout their life.
So here's something interesting, and you've heard me talk about this before, but if you guys have ever seen Gary Brecka, he talks about like folic acid and things like that, especially in America. Like in '93, it became a big deal. We put it on everything. So now your rice and all this shit, dude. It doesn't matter where I eat and what I eat. Like I'll be like barely finishing dinner, the check hasn't come, and I'd have to run to the shitter. Yeah. Like almost every fucking meal, 3 times a day, home, when I cook, doesn't matter. Every time I go to Europe, I changes completely. Like it never happens at all while I'm over there. So I was like, that's got to be a big part of it, because it talks about how 100%. Folic acid is not only big on like inflammatory and all that stuff, but it's also big on gut health. But I think it's just food in general that's here in our country is like, there is certain, like you talk about like what you like to eat. Like when I'm home during the week, I'll throw a steak in the air fryer for lunch every single day. Yeah. Easy, takes me freaking 15 minutes. It's fresh. And when I do that, and then I eat just a decent meal during the afternoon and like just eggs for breakfast, no gut problem. The soon as I go out to a restaurant, dude, 20 minutes into dinner, I got to fucking run to the bathroom. It's definitely the food that has a lot of gut issues, I'm sure.
Like my wife's a great cook. We got 4 kids, so sometimes it's hard for her to cook as exotic as she'd like. But whenever she does, she uses good ingredients and all that, and I never get sick, and I love the meals. And even then, I can make it a part of my diet, adjust my macros to hit it right now, and still include it to have a nice family meal with my family and still, be a bodybuilder.
Sure.
But when I go out, what people don't realize, they're always telling me, like, oh, I went out and I had Chipotle or chicken and rice at Red Lobster. You don't know what the quality meat they're buying. It's probably the shittiest possible because they got to buy a lot of it. They got to make money. It's understandable. They're going to make money. But you don't know what oils they're putting on the meats, how much they're cooking on it. You don't even know if they just put 40 tablespoons of olive oil on it. Now you have a chicken breast that's 70 grams of fat, and you don't even know it because it's at a restaurant. You don't know how it's being made or prepped. So a lot of times when you go to a restaurant, you think you're eating healthy, but you're really not. And it would almost be more beneficial to make a homemade Big Mac, and you'd be more healthier.
That's a good point. I never thought about that, but you're right. Like when they're cooking it back there, or like even Chipotle, right? You got 16-year-old kids back there cooking your steak. Yeah. Like, do you think they all do it exactly the same every single time? No. I mean, of course they try because it's a franchise and there's probably like a list, but let's be honest, dude, 16-year-old kid back there, he's like just throwing a bunch of
like place, like fuck this place. Yeah. Money. Now you got like 5,000 calories.
If you go to like a hibachi restaurant, I love hibachi, but you see these 7 sticks of butter. I'm like, holy shit. On my vegetables? Damn, my broccoli's going to be 700
Yeah,
calories.
dude. Like, and it's every cook's different, right? Like one cook throws 18 sticks of butter versus the other guy who throws 4 or whatever the case. You're right. There's no consistency to it. I didn't think about that aspect, but you get chicken and rice at a restaurant. Like it could have cooked in the same pan as 3 other things before it, and it soaked in a bunch of different stuff. And you're right.
If you go to Texas Roadhouse, I'm like, I'm gonna get the Brussels sprouts crisp. That sounds good. 1,000 calories. Where the fuck did the 1,000 calories come from? Brussels sprouts. I like Brussels sprouts sometimes, but I'm not gonna get 1,000 calories. I'd rather have a cheeseburger.
Yeah, right. Something that'll put
at least has the protein.
Right.
Yeah. I think too. Like I have a lot of my clients like this could sound funny, but monitor like their shit. You know what I mean? Like so, you should not be shitting like loose all the time. And if you are, it's something to do with your diet or your gut health. You know what I mean? So like when people are saying I'm having a hard time getting these meals in, or I'm not hungry or whatever. That's one of the first things I ask them. Like, hey man, like, what's your stool look like? You know, like, are you not to be gross, but you know, is it solid? Is it? And I notice when I go out to eat, a lot of times, dude, I'm fucking shitting mud, dude.
Dude, fucking painting walls, bro.
Yeah, dude, and you're like, oh man, and you got to go now. You know,
yeah,
creeped up on you. When I eat on meals, you know what I mean, and all my meals or whatever, oh, it's healthy. You know, everything's good.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I check mine every day, and it sounds terrible, but I go 5 to 6 times every single day, and that's part of my UC. When it's really bad, I'll go 19, 20 times a day.
Holy
I
shit.
call off. I can't do anything. It's awful. It ruins my life sometimes.
well, when you eat 6-7 times a day, like I
Yeah.
go probably 4 or 5 times a day too. So.
Yeah. So-
But that's just because of the volume of food that I eat.
Yeah, you gotta extract the waste, but that means at least you're not storing it and holding it, and you're healthily going. But I always check my stool, see what it's like, how it is. I also have to make sure there's no blood in it, so I know I'm not in a flare up, which sucks. But
Yeah,
that's
no
just part of
shit.
the process.
Well, the other thing that plays a part into that too is like pre-workout and stuff like that as well. A lot of,
Oh, yeah.
caffeine is a big input in that. So I'm sure some people are taking a little bit more than others.
That need to be. I use a lot of non-stim caffeines most of the time. Like right now, my breakfast, because I work out at 3:30 in the morning, is early as hell. So I can't eat. I've tried anything I eat, it just sits in my stomach, doesn't digest, and I can't train well.
I
So
just
now-
learned a cool trick, but go ahead. I just heard about a pre-workout. I'm dying to try it. But
Okay. Well, so my pre-workout I use is called Pump Fuel by PMD.
oh, that's what I use.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have the all-out one, which is 160 calories.
Insanity or whatever.
Oh, well, no. Yeah. And then the other one's 80. So I'll use the 160 calorie one, which has 20 grams of carbs and a little bit of other stuff in it. And it, it's healthier, good, easy digesting carbs. And I'll have a tablespoon of honey. And I'll do those two things, and that's my breakfast. It kind of sucks to start my day without any protein, but even if I try to get ahead of my protein goal, because I do 400 grams of protein right now a day, it just doesn't digest. So I do that. I get the gym, and I get home. I start my day for the protein and all that.
You don't have a shake that digests well or no?
I've tried Carbolin, and even that didn't really work out well for me.
Really? For protein though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Protein powder, yeah.
protein I started. I've been on it now for probably about 8 months. Is Jocko's brand is his vegan protein or whatever.
Oh, I hope it's better than the energy.
Dude, the energy
It
drinks
tastes
fucking
amazing.
are disgusting.
It tastes
Yeah,
amazing.
I
I
had
think that's the
one
only reason.
yesterday.
Are you talking about Jocko's energy drink?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he had one. Is it garbage? No.
It's the protein's pretty garbage too. No.
I mean, it
It's
might not be
good
the
for
best
you.
form.
It's
Is it?
good? It's good tasting, but it's not good. It's not great for you. It's
Of
a lot
course.
processed.
I mean,
it's
fuck.
it's a concentrate. Where usually you want to isolate or at least an isolate blend. It's a concentrate because I had a client that was like, I have to buy this, and I'm like, oh, well, I prefer you to buy any other brand that's not this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that says isolate, or whatever on it. But yeah, but it sucks because I think the dude's great and I would love to support his brand.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it sounded like it came from a lot of the stuff that he talked about where it came from. It sounded like it was a much better situation than what you're saying. I'll have to do a
He
little
said
bit
that
more
about
into
his
it.
energy drinks too, dude. And like if you try it, it'll make you want to throw the fuck up.
So-
I still gotta slightly enjoy it. But speaking on the pump fuel that you take, their protein actually is the one I use. And
Yeah.
It's fast absorbing. It's got greens in it, so there's my vegetables for the day, and it has a digestive enzyme, so then I also don't.
I can't believe you take pump fuel. I have never found anybody else that takes it. And like, it's a GNC. You can buy it at GNC, but only certain GNCs
So
carry
actually,
it.
I'm sponsored by PMD for 5 years now. I'm one of their head ambassadors.
No kidding.
So if you use
So
my
you
name,
use this code.
Yes, get the code, dude. Love it, man. Yeah, because I think I pay $70 a pop at GNC, but GNC only certain ones carry it. So like the one in Medina carries it, and then the next one is like, I think I want to say it's like north of
just go on their
Strongsville, like
website,
Parma.
save yourself the trip.
Yeah, dude. I'll have to make sure I get that code. That's good to know.
Yeah, my first name, easy as heck.
Yeah, so I mix that with joint oil every morning as my pre-workout. It is fire, dude.
Yeah, did you try the all-out one, the white pump fuel?
No,
That's the
I've
new
been
one.
doing the orange. I forget what it's called.
Well,
it's
the
like
container's white.
so it's a
But they have a
different.
non-stim version, but
So the all white is like a higher level yet.
yeah, it's a new one that just came out like a month ago, and it's pretty awesome. So the one you use is 80 calories. It has, and it's like 10 grams of carbs total.
Yeah, the Insanity one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the Insanity, which is 300.
That's the one I'm on. Insanity.
Yeah. So that one's their original pump fuel formula. They have a new one, and you should try it.
All right.
You know what I found out recently? This kind of blew my mind. I didn't know this. So, Gatorade, I never drink Gatorade because I'm like, oh, it's got sugar in it. They actually use dextrose, which is like same as your carbolin stuff, which is really good. It's like good sugar. But Powerade uses high fructose. So if you're gonna drink a Gatorade or a Powerade during your workout, always pick the Gatorade. The Gatorade
Really?
is actual it's like if you went to the supplement store and bought a dextrose carb, intra carb to use. I did not know that until this week. Literally, the kid at the gym told me that, and I'm like, no way. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I was like, oh, I use this carb. He's like, oh, that's good. I just drink Gatorade. I'm like, yeah, I don't like the sugars. He's like, it's dextrose. I'm like, huh. So it's funny how you just
learn this stuff because you're right. Like I stopped drinking Gatorade because of all the sugar, and I was like, God damn, there's almost as much sugar in this as there is in like a Mountain Dew or something like
Depends
that.
how you're fueling it. The smartest person in the room learns every day.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's talk about workouts. What are your guys' favorite workouts, and what do you recommend for a new beginner that's just starting to get out? Like, what's the easy ones? We talked about walking. You ruck every day. I agree. I mean, just getting 10,000 steps in does a number on you. But what
Good
else?
for your mental health too.
Yeah.
Do you do it barefoot? Get the nature? No.
Fucking liberty
I mean,
over here.
I'm moving to Florida in like a month. I'd probably do it then, but not how cold it is. Fuck
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah. Not for me.
I mean, I would say my favorite workout to utilize is hack squats.
Yeah.
I love it. It's isolated. It's in place. I have good quad genetics, and I feel it great. And I can go strong on it, which makes my ego, feel a little bit better.
Yeah. Leg day for sure is my favorite. I fucking love leg day. I love the reason why I like leg day is more so than any other day. Yeah, it's hard, and it's you versus yourself. It's how much pain can I take? How much pain am I willing to give right now? Because it's very hard to tear a quad or something like that. Like you really have to be fucking doing some crazy ass shit. So I think leg press has always been my favorite. Like I like to do these heavy leg presses for like 15 reps, and where like I was done at 8, but I got to 15, and slow and controlled. And not only do I fight the weight, but I fight for the form. So I'm always trying to keep good form. I want my first rep to look like my 15th rep, even though I was kind of failing at 8 or 9. I'm dig deep and get a little extra. So, but yeah, leg day, leg press is like my favorite for sure. So.
What about you, boss?
I mean, for being a former alcoholic, like all my content is about just like finding something you enjoy. Like I just like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's like if not, I would have been at the bar. So
Yeah.
when I have like an urge,
Now you're
like
in a different bar.
yeah, when I have that's why I like Craig's gym so much. It's literally like a pool table, like a bar. It's set up like a bar.
Yeah.
And if I just feel like I want to drink or do something stupid with my life like I used to, I just go to the gym again. But even if it's just to walk on the treadmill.
Dude, that's crazy because my wife's like, what did you do at the gym for 2 hours? You were just there this morning at like 5 o'clock. I was like, I don't know. I was like, you know what? I went in there because I was like, I just wanted to go to the sauna.
Yeah.
And then when I came out of the sauna, there were some people I started talking to, or I'm talking to this person. And then I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll do squats. You know what? I'll do my leg day today right after I did chest this morning. And fucking, I just won't function as a human tomorrow. It'll be fine. Like,
And then people will be like, no, that's not optimal. Like, bro, my life was never optimal before. I like no one lives life optimal right now. Then they'll like want to point that out.
I think there's a lot of other things that I could be doing that could be a lot less optimal than if I went to the gym twice a day and worked out, the same. You know what I mean? Like
There's certain areas or certain places that you can go that successful people go to find solace or peace, right? I think church is one of them. Yeah. I think the gym is another. Like that's somewhere where I would go. Like, dude, I've had blowout arguments with my wife, dude. Where like I'm like, I got to get out of this fucking house. It's 3 a.m. Guess where I'm going? The fucking gym, bro.
That's a great.
I'm gonna go walk on the treadmill, whatever. Yeah.
That's a great point. I think if people use that as an excuse, like to just go, like find yourself a 24/7 hour at a gym, find yourself that's got a cool vibe. Yeah. And you're right. Like you can go whenever the fuck you want. That's the best part. Guess what? They don't charge you a cover charge if you come in 3 times that day. You know what I mean?
And it goes back to like it goes against society norms. Because if I would wanted to go drink after I argue with my wife, people would be like, "That's normal." But like then they'll be like, "Why are you going to the gym again?" Like,
Yeah.
Dude, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
At least I'm going somewhere that like is gonna improve my mental health.
Well, you go there, you're around people that are like-minded. You're around a
Healthy.
lot of guys a lot of times, and you're going. I actually, when I was a kid, my first ever real gym was a men's only gym. It was the coolest gym, dude. It was called Bodybuilders in Akron. Dejan knows about it. It's great. Yeah, so it's dude. It's not a gym. My buddy, we said this dude, his name is Big Mike. He was in the WWE or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I got a gym for you because I moved out to Akron." I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "Why don't you train there?" He's like, he basically told me he's a pussy. He's like, "They don't have air conditioning and it's cold." So I was like, "Cool." So I go check this place out, dude. Everybody there is fucking huge. It's men's only. Rusty, like you probably need a tetanus shot to train in this place. Like the ceiling's leaking, the music's loud, there's chalk everywhere. But it was awesome. They give you protein shakes in like a Bud Light cup, which is cool. And it's like a man's gym, dude.
Does it still exist?
It does, yeah. It's still open.
I'm going there.
Yeah, we'll all go. We'll get a lift in. That'd be great. But yeah, it's a cool gym. A lot of the equipment's from like the 70s still. A lot of stuff you can't find anymore. A lot of custom made shit. And I belonged to this gym, and it was great. It was only men, and I learned a lot, dude. They didn't let you get away with shit, but once you learn the gym etiquette there, like people wanted to help you grow, and it was around men that were farther along in life than me. They wanted me to grow in the gym. They wanted me to grow in life. And I learned a lot. It was awesome. Then I got sued by some fucking purple-haired liberal chick.
Of
that
course.
came in
That's
there,
never
she's
even
like,
going to the fucking gym. She
No,
walked
dude.
in there one time and got mad because she couldn't join.
Listen to this shit. So they got sued. This girl came in there like, sorry, we're men only, and they're like, she's like, well, that's sexist, blah blah blah. So then they take them to court, and they're like, well, women have like curves, women's only gyms. Why can't we have a men's only gym? No joke. The judge said to him, he said, well, men cannot be intimidated by women, but women can be intimidated by men because men are stronger and more dominant, whatever. And
My wife intimidates me every day.
that's what I said. I was like, whoever said that never met my wife, dude, because I'm scared shitless of this bitch. So, but no, but seriously, I mean, she, my wife's a wonderful person, but and I have to say it or else I'll die when I get home. But no, she really is. But honestly, dude, it's like, it was unbelievable. I could not believe you could not go there because because that's what they rolled. It's how fucked up society is, but whatever.
I would have just told her I identify as a man that day then.
Yeah, right.
If I identify as a man, you can come. Bro.
Well, they only had one locker room, bro. And,
Oh,
literally-
yeah.
and
So then you got to
they had
change your
a
whole
second
business model. Like,
locker- They literally took a closet and put a bathroom in it. And they're like, oh, here you go. They-
So the girls go there.
Now there's two girls.
yeah, they're both like bodybuilding competitive
Yeah.
people, right? The one's a college athlete, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's like two chicks that go there. My wife will train there sometimes or whatever. Like,
yeah, when she's up there with you or whatever.
So that girl was just looking to try to make some money.
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
that's what it was.
But
Definitely.
going back on the leg day thing, I wanted to touch base. Legs are the hardest thing to do because two reasons. A, mentally, and B, you feel like you're just having a heart attack because for your blood to transfer, when you're doing bench press and your blood is transferring to your chest, you're right there. Back, same thing. Arms, right there. Shoulders, legs, this is a far travel for your heart because your heart's what pumps your blood. So as you're doing this leg day, you feel like you're going to pretty much pass out. Your blood sugar's tanking. A lot of things can happen. But when you're really getting to that level and you're pushing past failure, like say you did 10 squats, now you got to use your hands and pretty much bench press your knees for 3 or 4 more reps and force through 3 or 4 more reps to mentally get to that point, you pretty much almost feel like you died, but safely. And then when you're done, you're like, man, the grass is green, the sky is blue, I can't breathe, but I'm alive. And that's as close as you're going to get to almost death and feel healthy and come back from it. And it's almost like an eye opener realizing what you have, that you just didn't die under 500 pounds of a squat rack. And you don't get that feeling with almost any other body part, I feel.
Yeah,
At least to me.
for me, leg days definitely was the hardest to do. Well, plus, like, let's be honest, like, it's not like I mean, obviously, you guys are in bodybuilding, you have to have your legs built for a certain aspect. But like for me, like, I don't really need my quads to be popped and ripped and shredded. But then, so then you kind of just avoid it. Like you're like, oh, I'll do a little bit here, a little bit here. But like once you get into a routine of doing it, like. And you start getting that squat that goes up and you're like 300, 400, and you're like, oh, fuck. Now I'm like, all right, 450. Like now you're in the big boys club. Like you're starting to lift with the big dudes and you're like, you just feel like a different person. Now you're like, I need to get a little bit deeper. I need to do like,
I don't
like,
even squat a lot. I suck at squatting, actually.
but you're right when it comes to like, I didn't think of that being the reason, but like I could work out shoulders, chest, back, whatever.
Your
And I
chest
could
is
work,
going, your triceps will start
I
feeling
could work out hard as shit and I feel great. I don't get out of breath or anything. Like if I'm doing legs, I could do like leg extensions and then move over to leg curls and like I mean it's not like I'm dying on these things, but like I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm out of breath. I'm like fucking sweating. I'm like, what the hell?
You're deadlifting, you're squatting, you're like,
Yeah, dude.
big
Yeah,
movements,
my wife's
a lot
like,
of
why you
muscles.
take so much long? It takes so long in between reps. I was like, cause I'm fucking dying. Like, god damn.
you're rolling out of the leg press, like, fuck, can't walk. Yeah. And another thing too, I don't remember if I touched on this last time or not, but like if you're a natural guy, fucking train legs hard because that'll produce the most testosterone. So
Yes,
if
100%.
you train legs like an animal, you'll raise your testosterone levels. And then an old school trick was to train whatever body part you're the weakest at the day after you train legs because your testosterone levels are the highest at that point. So,
Really?
Yeah. So for natural people, like legs are super important. And even for enhanced people, like it just builds that grit. And then once you start training with that type of grit and that type of intensity, that'll start to translate to other body parts too. So your chest, your shoulders, your back, you'll start to really train with that, fucking kill me underneath this barbell mentality.
Yeah, and I mean, intensity is the biggest thing that I preach for my clients. I mean, I don't even care if you're curling 10-pound dumbbells. If you're going to failure and then you like grab your wrist and you force 4 or 5 more reps out, you will feel so much different than perfect form. I can't get it up anymore. I got to put it down. That's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not the way I like to train.
Yeah, fair enough. Actually, it's funny you brought that up. So I was listening to a podcast this morning. The guy who runs plates for dates or something like that.
Derek, yeah.
He was on Rogan, and he brought Rogan.
awesome.
Rogan brought up this thing that Tyson did before he fought, or whatever you want to call that, with what's his name. But just in general, like, have you ever heard of something called New Fit? So apparently what it is they hook up these things to whatever aspect of it
got it.
is.
The stimulations.
And it basically like it stimulates it. And you could turn it up as much as you can really take.
So you
And
can
it talks
stick and you feel
and it talks about like he's like you're basically like fully flexed and then you work out while you're doing it.
use that.
And I was like, dude, that sounds insane. But
They've been using that since like the 80s and the 90s. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of old school bodybuilders used to do that, and it's like a thing for sure.
But like supposedly like for bodybuilders, he's like what a lot of guys will do. Like if you struggle building traps, like they would hook it up to just your traps and then have you work out just your traps, and it would help help build that a little bit more than maybe your standard workouts would do. But I was just curious. You said you've actually done it too.
Yeah, I mean, a big part too is everyone's mechanically built different. So I can't judge someone and say you have to squat like this. That person's 6'4". He's not gonna squat like a 5'2" guy.
Yeah.
They might have to do a low bar squat to feel more comfortable with a high bar squat.
His
Everything is
ankle mobility
mechanically.
might suck or something like that too.
Right?
Yeah.
It could just be me and just suck at squats. I don't know. So every workout looks differently. I remember when I first started being a trainer and I'm training this guy and he's doing tricep pushdowns and I'm like, why does it look like he's doing it wrong? I mean, he's doing the motion right, but it just looks wrong. And it's just awkward because he's newer at it. His muscles look weird. He's learning the motion, and now he looks fine doing it. But
Right.
Everyone's like again, there's no one way to do it that you have to do it right. You don't have to turn your wrist to get a full bicep contraction. You don't have to stretch all the way in the bottom just to only contract the bottom of your peak. Training is training. I mean, there's different ways you can stim things, especially if you're a higher level athlete. But a lot of times, movement is life. And if someone's just training, don't be a dick and yell at them for perfect form or something. As long as they're not in a range that they're going to hurt themselves deadlifting with a rounded back, it's not a problem. And just do your best and train with intensity half the time.
I did hear something the other day that if you're deadlifting, even if your form is not perfect, the fact that you're deadlifting often or frequently or like part of your regular routine, you're like 80% less likely to have a back injury later in life
Because you're
or have
strengthening
back
your lower back.
issues.
Squats are the
100%.
same. Like,
Yeah.
even if you don't go 90 degrees, like there's still a lot of benefits to just putting the weight on your back and going down.
I mean, I imagine.
I mean, how many people do you know that have injured their back for deadlifts? And if you do know someone, ask them how much they were deadlifting. It was probably over 300 pounds at least. So if you're deadlifting 1, 2 plates, even sometimes 3, it's going to be pretty hard to injure yourself. And most of the time, if you're going to be doing too much weight, you just couldn't pick it up.
Well, I was gonna say the other part of it is you're more likely to give yourself a hernia if you're not using a belt than you are to actually injure your back in that process, because you're not going to be able to lift it before you're going to be able to do the pain to hurt your back.
And that's another thing too. Deadlifts will help core strength as well, and squats. Anything where you're bracing your core, you're going to get it's going to have more than one benefit than what you're actually training. Those compound movements are so important. I did have a client one time though that, because I have a lot of my clients, they will send me their workouts. They'll record them and send them to me. And he was doing deadlifts, and I said, do not do another deadlift until we train together.
Yeah.
It was very bad. And it was funny. One session, and he fixed it, and it was good. I'm like, okay, cool, you're good to go now. But
Right.
it was like, dude, this dude is going to get hurt if he keeps doing this, you know? And he was one of those kids that like, and we've all done it. I've done it too, but he really liked to push himself weight wise. And you find that like there's more than one way to push yourself, not just by the weight, but by the form, by the intensity, by the control, you know, and or reps, you know what I mean? So you don't always need to add a plate to get better at a set, you know.
True. Now, how often do you guys change gyms? Like overall, do you have multiple gym memberships? Do you guys train at one particular gym or locations? How do you guys kind of?
I have 2, but I work at both of them. And for me, it's just convenient to just stay at those 2 because I'm already there for clients. I'm just going to knock out my workout usually half the time.
Yeah, lately I have 2 gym memberships too. Lately, I've been at warehouse like 99% of the time, whether it's Worcester or Medina. Sometimes I'll jump down to Ontario or whatever just to get a change of scenery or Ashland. But the other gym I train at is that Fit for You gym in Parma, which is another really good one. And then every once in a while, I just like a change of scenery. Sometimes I like to go to a gym where there's just like nobody I know. You know what I mean? And I just put my headphones in and just do my workout. No one comes up to me and says hello or whatever. I do that a lot in prep. You know, but I would say like for most, especially bodybuilders that are like moving heavy weight, stick with like 1 or 2 gyms that you have like the same equipment, because a lot of times you get hurt. A lot of the injuries that I've had were because I was at a different gym. I was traveling or something, and I was at a gym and I was trying to push myself on equipment I'm unfamiliar with. My body's not used to the way that it loads or whatever, and then I end up with a problem. So that happened to me in August with at a competition out in Lancaster, PA. I was training at a gym out there, really cool gym, but I was doing squats on their Smith machine. It was different than the Smith machine that I have, and I wasn't even going heavy. I usually can do 5 plates easy on a Smith for like 15 reps. I was at like 3 or 4 plates, so I wasn't even up to my load set. And all of a sudden, I go down for 1 or 2 reps, and then felt something in my back, and I couldn't walk out of the place. So
Wow.
it was like, it wasn't the weight; it was just the resistance and the way that it sat.
Yeah,
So
it's not that it's bad resistance, it's just different. It's
Yeah.
it's different body wasn't
different
used to
leg
it.
extensions, different hack squat. Every gym has a little bit of a depending what brand they use. It's
Sure.
gonna feel different.
Yeah, so lock something up.
What about you, Kyle?
I just got kicked out of a fucking real gym because of my content, so I go to warehouse full time.
What, you got kicked out of a gym?
Recorded me punking the fucking owner out too. Fuck him. I'm not gonna give him a shout out in this bitch though. But,
No, I don't
so
blame
now
you.
I only go to the warehouse, and I like the Medina and the Ashland Vibe more. So those are my 2 home gyms now.
Yeah.
And Medina is probably gonna be mainly in that and Worcester, and I just like I'm just getting a little bit too big for my hometown, so I'm starting to get a lot of that accumulated. Like, oh fuck him, so I'll just kind of stay away from Mansfield now.
Yeah.
But I still like that gym too because it's like grunge style. There's nothing against the gym itself. It's just my content.
It's
just that some people just don't like my shit.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the case.
is
Some
what
people,
it is.
some people aren't going to like you anywhere,
I
whoever
got a
you
ton
are.
of love when I like posted on Medina's story, and then I put it's very aggressive. Don't follow me if you're a bitch. And Craig reposted it, and then like that's how I found you.
Yeah, that's how I found you. I was like, well, if Craig
Now
will
I'm
to
building a
repost it,
fucking-
like he's all right.
A bunch of people like you guys around me versus like people that get offended by it.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny that because you said earlier, I didn't know other people thought like me. Dude, there's so many people that think like us, but
Oh, yeah.
they're just
They're
afraid to
scared.
say something because they have a friend or a cousin or something they're going to offend by what they fucking say.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, I don't know. And I get it, dude. I have friends too that probably don't agree with some of my opinions and things, but that's okay. You know what I mean? And the way I look at it is if you can't like respect someone that has a different opinion, like you could think differently. You could be the most liberal person in the world. If you're a respectable person, I'll just say, all right, whatever, cool. Like in my mind, I'm like, that kid's an idiot, but
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
not-
still be friends. We
yeah,
still have dinner,
right.
We hang out, whatever. No
Yeah, we
problem.
can still talk sports, or we can still talk whatever else. Yeah, I 100%
No problem.
agree.
Because they'll be like, I don't fuck with your content, but I'll see them on my page every day. Like I don't turn on the TV and watch a fucking TV show I don't like every day.
You don't watch The View?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't
I
watch
love
my
Whoopi
shit,
Goldberg.
If it's too offensive for you, then just like block me.
Yeah,
Don't come
lot
and
of
tell me every
misreaction.
day you don't like my shit. That's fucking weird.
yeah, I agree. Plus, it takes up my time.
Like,
my
yeah,
effort.
they'll literally like comment my stories like you're a douchebag. Like, bro, you don't even follow me, so you have to type in my name to come comment on my stories. And you've done it 7 times in the last month.
Yeah, dude.
it's funny
At
because,
least
like,
follow me.
But they're paying you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
If people like us, if we don't agree with someone, like that guy's an idiot, and as long as it doesn't affect us, we just go about our day.
I'll never
Right.
speak about
Yeah,
it.
whatever. We don't care. Whatever. So and then, but the other side is always like, oh my god, I'm so offended. I'm gonna go complain to gym management. I'm gonna go complain to this person. I'm gonna argue with them in their DMs.
Yeah.
Or in their comments. That's the other thing too. Is if I feel like really passionate about something, like someone posts something, I really don't agree with it, and usually it's like a safety thing or whatever, or maybe a posing thing that someone's trying but they're doing the wrong thing. I don't blast them on their social media page. I'll DM them privately and say,
Yeah,
"Hey,
and
look,
that's-
man, like, why don't you try this? Or if you want help with your posing, just let me know at the gym. Maybe I'll help you out a little bit. Whatever,
Yeah, it's to the point now, like, because you're in the gym and you see somebody that's working out, especially younger kids when they're 16. I'll say something, but like you see somebody else working out, and you're like, that is probably not the best. But then you're at the same point in time, you're like, do I really want to deal with the repercussions of me trying to help this guy? Like the chances,
It's sad.
like it's you sometimes get that. I don't feel that way now. But the reason I asked about you guys going to different gyms or if you switched your gyms was like when I switched my gym, anytime in my life, like I feel like I leveled up. Like you level up. I feel like when you get to a new gym, you're around new people, you got different equipment. Like when warehouse opened, like it's been like, I don't know, a month. I think my bench has gone up 30 pounds. My
it almost remotivates you.
yeah, like my workouts are different. Like I'm trying harder. Like my workouts are more like, all right, focused on like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, and
to be fair with
plus it's
warehouse-
really hard not to be amped in there with the music. I gotta be honest.
That and like there's some legit bodybuilders that train there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's that Aaron Helsing kid that the Ohio Oak. He's a pretty good bodybuilder.
That dude's yoked for
yoked
sure.
Dude, you have Tim that's in there, Tim Licata, who's 300 pounds of fucking solid ass muscle. So I mean, there's some pretty good, and even some of the kids that train there are pretty big. So
Well, that's like my wife. She's like, so now that you're working out this gym, does it make you want to do steroids? I was like, a little bit, but what
always
it,
wanted to.
but what it actually makes me want to do is work out harder and harder because like I don't want to be the smallest dude in the room. So you know what? It just ups my level a little bit when I'm there. Like I'll work out a little bit more often. I'll work out a little bit harder. I'll try a few different exercises, different routines. Like they have the belt squat there in the back. I've never had a belt squat at any of the gyms I went to. Like
Yeah.
that shit kicked my ass. So I was like, all right, this is a good one. I'm going to continue on this one a little bit.
Wait till they
You
get a
know,
pendulum.
Yeah.
That'll humble you.
Well, he asked me, he's like, hey, what are some different things that you want to add in here? He's like, I think you've logged the most hours in this gym of anybody since we've opened. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I feel like this thing's got fucking everything. But I definitely feel like you level up when you switch that gym or you go to a new one, and it like just kind of. So like for those people that like want to start working out, like just get in there and like find if it's not your vibe, like okay, in a month go to a different one and see if it's your vibe, like because you never know who you're gonna run into. I mean, the first time I ran into Nick, actually, I knew you went to school with my wife, but like I didn't know you. I think we ran at Rise, and that's back when it was a fucking awesome gym to go to. And I know Evan, you ran into Dejan at what is it, Old School Iron that you guys pump at, and then. You being a part of the warehouse kind of franchise before he opened up in Medina, and then seeing you come to Medina, I was like, oh, who's this guy? I'll check him out if Craig's willing to post his stuff. And I love how when anybody tags the gym, he posts it. He doesn't care who it is.
He don't play that cancel culture shit too, because like my shit, I know people probably message him about me, and he still posts me every day.
Yeah,
dude.
Like, I just like how real he is. Like so what happened? Like why I left? It was just like a misunderstanding. I texted Craig personally. I'm like, hey bro, I'm coming back. No hard feelings. Like I love your gym. And he's like, yeah, fuck that. I never had any hard feelings. Like come back, more than welcome. And like I had just got canceled from another gym, and then like the story they were telling people was like I got canceled from the warehouse, but I didn't. There was so many people talking shit about my business. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck if they talk shit about my business anyways. Like they're just gonna talk
Free
shit
advertisement.
anyways. Yeah,
That's true.
Like, and then hate spreads faster anyway. So like 3 people that listen to this and get pissed off, like, oh, I think he's talking about me. Like, there's so many of you motherfuckers talking about me. I'm not even talking about you.
Yeah.
And then it just spreads my message faster anyways. And then I saw how much support. Like I always add Craig as a collaborator because I'm really good at editing, and he always puts it on. Like the only one I have to do now is Worcester.
Yeah.
And he puts it on his page. I know there's people messaging about me, but like. If you like cancel me, it's like I get so much reach. I'm gonna get you more members than the 2 people that were mad anyways.
Yeah.
100%. And it's crazy, you know. TikTok's not really my thing, and I never did well on TikTok. And I tried to, and I remember this one reel I had. It got to like 500,000 views, and I'm like, oh my god, I usually get like 2,000, 3,000. And it was because I was doing a posing video. It was like 4 years ago, before my gyno surgery, and I had gyno. So a bunch of these guys are like, oh, he got that from steroids. He doesn't even look good. He misused steroids. Lower the there's a bunch of hate for that. And I'm like, I've had this since I was 9. You know, like
You guys don't really know the story. Yeah.
right? But you're just blaming it on steroids.
And now 500,000 people know you regardless.
Yeah.
and then I got blocked for them hating on it so much somehow or something. I didn't even comment on one thing, but I was like, all right, it got taken down. I got taken down for nudity because I had boobs.
They punish you for going viral because like I try to respond to all the comments, like not even a negative way on a video that went really viral. And I got banned for 12 days from commenting because they said I was spamming comments. But like they want you to go viral, but then when you go viral, they punish you on it. It's very weird.
I think it just depends if you get in that right spot where like somebody that doesn't like what you're sharing just decides like, hey, today's the day I'm gonna say something or come, and then they're like, you know what? Let's go through his other videos and see which other ones I can complain about. And then
that's how my TikTok got taken down. They like the Lizzo things happened, and then they went and reported I watched all my videos start blanking out and going away.
Damn.
And I'm like, fuck, my account's fucked, dude.
But
I didn't make much money off TikTok anyways because it's a very different vibe over there.
Yeah. So
I
you make
way
most of your
more
money
with
off
12,000 followers on Instagram than I ever did with 250,000 on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Because
insane.
Instagram's just more like it's like a real like you have stories so you can show yourself and
Yeah,
like,
and they have a monetization thing.
a monetization
they pay pretty
thing.
good.
Yeah,
Wow.
like it's just TikTok. The DM structure's all fucked up. Like it's just not a good thing. Like, you could have 1 million followers on there and be dead broke.
Yeah, would you really make money on TikTok is like TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
And I don't do that.
That's
Yeah,
too
I
much.
think
It's so much
corny,
work.
'cause, like, then people like you're not even selling your own brand. You're just
Right.
selling something else to get a little bit of money.
Yeah, so we're starting to create a little merch shop for Guys Night. It'll be on the website, guysnight.com. And we try to involve the TikTok shop a little bit. But like with especially when you like print on demand or anything like that, like if it doesn't like work within their regulations, like they'll just freeze it up and then they'll give you a strike against you because you tried to sell something on it that didn't get to a person within 3 days or whatever. And it's like, that's just way too much fucking work, dude. Like, kudos to all the people that just want to sell Trump t-shirts and fucking Trump hats and like fucking hats with like a fucking rubber emblem on it. Like that is working for you. Fucking you keep doing your thing.
Can I be like the bad guy in the room in here? Because I just want to say I fucking hate social media. I hate it. I don't like doing it. I don't like anything about it. It takes away from my training. Like I absolutely hate it. That's why I don't have a ton of followers because I haven't invested the time that these 2 gentlemen have done into it, which they've done a great job. But I just hate it, dude. I just feel like and I see all these like influencer people that everybody wants to become famous and they don't provide any type of real fucking value. I saw this one fucking guy, dude, that it was like his kid, right? Whatever, like 20 years old. And he documented him doing a bench press with like 2 25-pound plates. He's like, okay, cool. And then after a week, I got up to, or after a month, I got up to 2 35-pound plates and then 2 45-pound plates. And it's like, cool, you're working out and building and getting stronger at a very reasonable rate. Like, and he has like a million views on this shit. I'm like, how is this valuable content for people? But then, like, you know, if I post like an instructional video on how to, hey, this is proper technique for a deadlift, it'll get literally no traction whatsoever. And obviously, I'm not very good at the social media thing, and yeah, I hate it. I just want to kick over all the fucking tripods.
It's my full-time job, bro, and I still agree with you. I still agree with you 100% though. Like, do you have these fucking people regurgitating shit they heard from this other guy to just get it clicks, and like it's that victim mentality. Like they like, oh, let's make this fucking kid famous that knows nothing and just documented some bullshit. But this guy that's really putting in the work, let's just go hate on him because fuck him.
Bro, do you know how many influencers I've met that I'm like, wow, you have a very mediocre physique? And I'm like, but online, they're fucking huge. And they're like, oh my God, this Alex Eubank kid, my kid was obsessed with him. Yeah, he was obsessed with him. He's like, oh my God, what? Yeah, and I was out in Philly training at that fusion gym that he trains out of, and I seen him taking pictures. I'm like, is that really that fucking dude?
He just looks like an Abercrombie model.
Yeah, that's what he does, and like not even a good one. And and he just had long hair, pretty boy, young kid. But if you look at everything's dark. Like if you go to somebody's Instagram and all their photos are super dark, they're fucking cooking that shit, dude.
It's saturated.
Yeah, exactly. Although if you do take them at the warehouse, their light naturally does that. So
so disgusting, dude.
Yeah. But it's it's frustrating because then you have guys out there that have actual like impressive physiques, and you're like, holy shit, and they have no following because they're just, I don't know, they don't know how to market it.
Well, and you know, it's funny because as we try to build this and we want it, like, you know, it's funny, like, I wish there's more guys like me. Like, I wish there's more random guys that just want to come out and have the same conversation about whatever and whatever. Like, there's no rules, no limits.
Yeah.
So I keep hoping, like, you know, we'll gain more followers and then we'll get more people that just want to come interested, because I spend hours a week trying to find people to come on and do this for different reasons, different episodes, etc. But when you talk about like so when you start looking up and doing your own research, like, all right, how do I get more followers? How do I get more of this? Like the shit that it wants you to do, I'm like, that is fucking so against everything.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
You're like selling out,
find somebody that does something similar to you and then go through all their reels. And then when you go through their reels, find like their 5 that stick out because they got 5 times more, and then remake that reel and then just as your own. And then the algorithm will get those people to like your reel. And I'm like, that is, I don't want a fucking bunch of reels of junk.
Like, have
the
like
thing
trending
is-
music and shit. You're like, what if I just want fucking AC/DC on my shit? You know? Like,
And the thing is, none of those guys are making really any money. Like, bro, I'm like the 1% of my industry. Like, and because like they're repeating the same shit, so they're not setting themselves apart. So sure, they're going viral. But they're going viral to 15-year-old kids that have no money to spend.
Yeah.
Like when I get online, I'm like, hey, you stupid fuck. How about you stop drinking in front of your kids, you stupid fat retarded fuck? And this dude's like, oh my God, bro, I need to change my life. And then I have a following that has money.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, if you're in the corporate world and you hate your fucking life and you want to change your life, I used to be a fat bastard just like you. And then this dude's like, fuck, I'm going to have this dude change my life. And I only have 12,000 followers and make more than...
So do you make most of your...
YouTube, I probably make more money now at Eubank.
it's just the accountability.
For
You know
sure.
what I mean? Like, people want that accountability of, like... and I think it's valuable. And I get that from my coach all the time. I literally missed a couple things on my week on consistency. Wednesday, I had a meal that I didn't eat that I was supposed to eat that I had to substitute out for something else because I didn't have it. And then I missed my step count almost every single day this week. I'm not a fucking... I'm honest with my check-ins with my coach. So I'm like, yeah, I missed my step count. I was being lazy. I should have, got up and walked and moved or whatever. I got a book, bro. A book this morning on my check-ins of like, you're better than this. Like, I expect more from you. Do you think this is IFBB Pro level training this week? Like, which I needed to hear that shit.
Yeah.
He cares. Yeah, he gives a shit. And I'll tell you a story. I had when I was going through my surgery, I had the same type of problem, like where I was like, now this week was pretty mediocre compared to then. I had like 2 or 3 weeks where I was just in a muck, dude, because I couldn't train anything upper body. I can only do lower body. I watched my body just melt away because I'm in a cast for my surgery and stuff, and I was just getting out of it and just getting back into rhythm of things. And I kind of had this like come to Jesus moment with my coach. I'm like, look, I'm having a hard time mentally. Like, I'm just having a rough thing. He's like, listen. He's like, we're going to pull you out of this. He says, you're going to get up in the morning. You're going to do 30 minutes of fasted cardio, then an ice bath. I was like, okay, good. I'm like remotivate myself or whatever. And he's like, what time do you wake up? I'm like 6 o'clock. He's like, all right, I'll call you at 6. And this dude's got like, I don't know, 50 clients, 60 clients, whatever. He calls me at 6 in the morning, FaceTimes me. We're doing cardio together. We're getting in the ice bath together. Like, you know, he's in Pittsburgh, I'm in Ohio. And, you know, and it was just like, at that point I realized like, man, this is the accountability I need. This is, you know, and I told him, I was like, you don't have to do this. Like, I was the one that fell off the wagon. I was the one that has to, whatever. He's like, look, man, he's like, the only way I know how to lead is by example. And he's like, if I'm not willing to get up and do it with you, then how am I going to tell you to do it? You know? So I think that accountability and that, like, that tough love can be really beneficial for anybody, whether you're a bodybuilding competitor or whether you're just a regular guy that wants to lose a few pounds.
Well, even at work, right? Like, so for instance, the organization I work for, my boss, like I took a position where I work for myself now, but I have a boss over me. It sucks having a boss over me, but at the same point in time, like I don't have to worry about other people anymore. And he doesn't ever say anything to me because I'm usually a top 5 performer in the nation and like doesn't have really any issues. But there's times where like I'll have like back to back really good months, and then I'll just fucking take a month and basically not really do anything, just log the fucking task, like fucking say that I did this or go here, but not really try, like, because I'm good, like I don't need to, I can focus on other things. And we'll have a one-on-one once a week, and it'll be like, hey, you know, I don't really have much to share, you're doing a good job, like keep it up. And I'm like, dude, I ain't done shit in 2 weeks, like it's okay. You could tell me. Like me. I want you to tell me. Like this might be my internal, my internal like self being like, I need someone to like hold me accountable. Like, Will, you're slacking off this month. What's going on? Did you make too much money the last couple of months? Like, yeah, I am kind of slacking. All right. Well, do you want me to come down there and fucking make some visits with you? You want me to hit a couple of your clients up with you? Like, because you're right, that accountability, that everybody needs that once in a while. We can all say we're going to hold each other accountable. Like, and yeah, you probably would have gotten back in there and got to the gym yourself eventually. But you know what? The fact that he did that with you meant it started the next day rather than 3 or 4 days later, which puts you, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's a great example when people are looking at like starting to work out again or get back in shape. Like, there's no harm and no shame in like, you don't have to hire the top notch physical you know, trainer to get you started. Like, just go to your gym, find somebody you like conversating with and be like, hey, do you mind if I like meet you up since we show up at the same time and work out together? I don't know really what I'm doing. Like, it'd be nice to have some advice. And even the most like, I don't really like working out with other people because I find myself talking more than I do working out. But if someone was like, do you mind if I show up at the same time? Like, I'd be like, yeah, just, you know, you can do this right here. Like, just start out, whatever, and move on to the next one. And they'd probably get something out of it. Just find somebody that enjoys doing it and hold that'll maybe like be like, hey, I didn't see you for a week. Where were you, bud? Thought you wanted to do this year. You know what I mean? And
don't be afraid to hold your friends accountable too. Like if you don't come up to the gym for like a week, I'm like, Bill, well, where you been, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, man? You looking fat. Let's
yeah.
go. You know, like,
yeah.
It's important. You know?
I don't even want friends that are yes men. Like, if I have a friend that's always like, I used to have this dude who'd be like, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Like, I just quit fucking talking to him. Like, I need you to tell me. That's why I hire mentors, because like a lot of your friends will eventually just be like, when you're doing really good, they'll just start riding the wave with you instead of telling you the next thing. Like, I need people to like pull me to the next rank. Like,
yeah.
I don't care if I made $1 million. Like, what do I do next? Like, I don't need you to fucking clap me on the back and tell me good job. Like, where are we going past this? Like, I just, like, I did the Brad Lee podcast, and everyone's like, you made it. Like, I didn't fucking make shit, bro. I'm trying to get on Joe Rogan's.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Dude, Bradley's got 1 million followers. I only got 12,000. Like, I'm not on that level yet just because I was on the show.
One of the biggest stream podcasts ever, and like, I'll never stop. I could do Joe Rogan, and I'm like, I just want to do it again. Like,
yeah.
I don't like the fucking mediocrity in today's world where like they're like, oh, you're good, you made it. I fuck that.
Well, I don't think. Do you ever really make it if you're really like striving to be your best all the time?
Right, like bodybuilding's the same way. Like, you're like, oh man, how many of you have gone to the gym and like, I just want to bench press like 225.
That happens to every man's life, right?
Like, I just want to get to 315. You know what I mean? Then it's just always the goal changes, but you just, because you don't love the goal, you love the chase. You love to have the journey, and I think that's what gets super successful people. They don't love the money. They don't love the physique. They love the process that it takes to get that.
Yeah.
Once you fall in love with that process, you'll be successful at whatever you do.
Well,
That's
I
why
think
I left the corporate world because like there was nowhere else to chase.
Yeah.
Like I was there. I'm like, fuck. That's now what?
Well, even if there is it really something that you love? Like, I mean, like, because you could be making 6 figures or fucking 7 figures even, and like, you hear a lot of these guys that are doing something completely different nowadays, and it's like, yeah, like, I was making 7 figures doing that. Now I'm making 7 figures doing this, but I actually enjoy myself. I actually, get to do something more, like the guy that wrote Buy Back Your Time. Like, he's like, man, a lot of the time I was spending And a lot of time that people spend doing something every day that they don't really like, or that they do the tasks that they don't really fucking like they could spend a little bit of money and be spending that time doing something that's much more beneficial to them and allows them to grow in a different way, another set. And
when people tell me that, like, it's not about the money when they hate on my content, I'm like, well, it changed my family tree. And they're like, it's not about the money. Like, the only thing you do in life is you wake up early to go to a job to make money and you fucking hate it. So don't tell me it's not about the money. The only thing you are forced to do is about the money, bro.
yeah.
Because you didn't unlock the potential to do more and make more.
Well, it's like, well, I can't remember what movie it was, but he's like, Wolf of Wall Street, when they're like, when he's like,
Number one favorite movie
dude,
of all time.
when he's talking about, like, you know, I don't have to be rich, and he's like, yeah, when I show up to fucking court, I show up in the back seat of a limousine wearing a fucking $5,000 suit and fucking, like, yeah, money does matter. It allows you to do shit. Like, I mean,
But even him, like, yeah, the money was a motivator for him, but for Jordan, it wasn't about the money necessarily. It was about the game.
Yeah.
The game. How much can I do? How much more can I win in life? You know what I mean? And that's what it was.
Well,
And obviously the money's great. Like, no one's like, oh,
yeah,
man,
but once
I
you
want
have
the
fuck
fucking
you money, like, you
Yeah.
just get more fuck you money. Like,
Exactly.
it's more about saying fuck you than it is the actual money at that point.
My favorite scene in that movie is when they were talking about the dinner, and the dad comes in. He's like, $20,000 on sides. Like, what did the sides cure cancer? He's like, yeah, they did.
Yeah,
cure
they
cancer.
actually did cure cancer.
What kind of hookers take credit cards? Like rich ones, you know? So, great.
I mean, that's exactly how I live my life. I'm like, how many more haters can I shit on today?
Yeah.
Like, how many more people can I make feel mediocre that talk about me?
Yeah, I
Fucking-
mean,
that's all I care about, bro.
Dude.
I wake up and like, how can I shit on someone else again that said something bad about me 5 years ago?
well, you know what? And hopefully, maybe eventually they change theirs and like, dude, thanks, man. You
Yeah,
know what?
exactly.
Fucking,
I have that
I was
heart,
I was a shit talking piece of shit, and you know what? I looked at myself in the mirror the other day and realized I was a shit talking piece of shit.
I have a lot of DMs like that. Like,
And I wanna
bro,
do
used to
something.
Fucking hate you, and then now you motivate me.
Or
I've done that myself. Like when I was a kid to now, or even like certain things. Like I was at a bodybuilding show. I competed a couple years ago, and I was backstage, and the national anthem was going on or whatever, and I just was like kind of chatting with like dude, and one of the guys that was there was like, "Hey, quiet," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Man, I'm a fucking asshole," you know. So
Yeah.
I go to him afterwards, like, "Dude, I'm really sorry, man. That was disrespectful of me." You know, well, there's no shame in being able to say, you know what? Yeah, I used to think a certain way, but now I'm much wiser, and I don't, you know, whatever. So.
yeah, and I think you come to the conclusion too, like, you know, why are you talking shit in the first place? Is it something that you don't like about yourself? You know, and if anything, like, you know, even just talking tonight, we talked about talked a bunch of shit about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But like, hopefully, people just look in the mirror and like tomorrow, like, do you like who you are when you wake up in the morning, and do you like who you are when you go to bed at night? Like, because if you do, then hey, by all means, keep doing what you're doing. But you know, tonight we wanted to talk a little about fitness and stuff like that coming here, because there's a lot of people that they cannot be happy with the fact that they breathe heavy after they walk to the second
Let's
floor
be
of their
real, bro,
house.
your wife don't like fucking that either. I tell guys that all the time, like, do you actually think your wife likes that, bro?
Yeah,
Right.
she's looking at
She
Channing
said-
Tatum and be like, that
yeah.
doesn't look like my husband.
She says she does because she doesn't want to hurt your feelings, bro. But like, when you get in better shape, I promise you guys are fucking better. Like, it's just the reality of the situation.
And think of it in a reverse role. You know, if your wife was 300 pounds or your wife was 120 pounds, which one would you rather fuck?
Yeah.
People are just scared to talk about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's the type of content that wakes people up to actually change their lives, because they're like, fuck, I really died. She probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I think too with your content, it comes off as crass maybe a little bit, but it's from a place of love, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
for sure.
It's like this is supposed to make you better.
Yeah.
It's not like we're not calling you a fat piece of shit because we think you're a bad human being. We just want you to change your lifestyle because
Sure.
you can be better than this. We
Sure.
expect more out of this, more from you than this from you. You know what I mean?
Right, it's not like I hate my kids because I just spanked them. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just you know, you gotta learn. That.
Yeah.
Because if I actually
Yeah.
hated them, I would just stay offline and hoard all my money and never tell anyone how to be successful.
Yeah.
I would just disappear. Like, I would have just stayed in the corporate world. and just-
fucking yachts. Somewhere.
Yeah. Like,
So how do you guys do this with your kids? Obviously, routines. Now you start your morning at 3:15 down there, Dan.
So
That's early. I mean, I start at 5, but 3:15. That's a.
well, so I was always getting up about 6:30. I'd get the kids to school, and then I'd drive straight to work. I get to work at 8, and I'd work out at 1 o'clock around lunchtime because I don't have clients then because it's lunchtime. But recently, I've just gotten so busy. I have no more time for work. I do more in-person training than I do just online. I love to have the personal connection with the person. I love to build with them, be their friend, be their, the accountability and all that. So I had to make a realization. I was like, all right, either I got to work a 5th or 6th day of work if I want to pick up more clients or have more time for these people, or I got to make something happen. So I made a tougher call, and I said, all right, daylight savings time's coming up here in the beginning of November. So now my 6 o'clock is going to become 5. What's another hour? So I wake up now at 3:30 to get to the gym at 4. I work out 4 to 5-ish, get home, shower, grab my kids at 6:15 to take them to school, come back at the other one, go back to school again because they have 2 different start times. Now I can go to work. Now from work, I can work from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. I don't have to take a 1 to 3 block for myself to work out. I've already got it knocked out the way. I lose an hour or 2 of sleep here or there, or just be more mindful of when I go to bed. Which can be tough having a 4-month-old right now. Sometimes she keeps me up and then I just lose some sleep. And those days I just got to suck it up. But now I'm able to take on more clients, help more people do what I love, and just be as happy and still spend the time without sacrificing for my family. So that's why I get up early. It wasn't always a choice, but it's just something that I would rather just lose the sleep and not be next to my wife while she's not awake anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I can still see my wife, be with my kids, and help people out. So that's why I start so early.
Cool. Well, thank your wife for letting you be here tonight. Like, obviously, that's taking away some of that evening time for you on the weekend, but
She'll forgive me by Tuesday.
It's a balancing act, man. Like you gotta figure out a routine that works for you. Some guys are morning guys, some guys are afternoon guys, whatever, but whatever you choose to do, you just block off the time and just do it. Just get up and do it, That's, for me. And I really am super present in my kids' lives too. Like I was the dad that would always go to the class, Christmas parties and Halloween parties and shit. Last year my daughter did her last one, was my youngest, so it was kind of sad. I was guest on, I get dressed up as guest on and shit. Whatever.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, I always enjoyed doing that, being prideful that I was so involved in my kid's life, because my dad really wasn't like that. So it was important for me, but. It's not. I just had to give up other things, And maybe I'm not watching TV shows now, but maybe I cut shit out that I just didn't matter as much because I want to focus on. Okay, these are my priorities: my family, my career, my bodybuilding. Those are the 3 things that are going to happen every single day, no matter what. And I'm going to check all those boxes off.
Yeah.
But a big part of the kids and the structure is it doesn't happen overnight, and I didn't have that structure right off the rip. I didn't say tomorrow I'm waking up 3:30 doing this diet. I slowly integrated little things to add up to where I wanted it to be. So a big example of that is like I fell off the wagon huge when I had my medical issues in January, and I was just like staying afloat till April, and then I went back to the hospital again for like 5-6 days, having another flare up, and I just felt so defeated. I remember driving to the hospital in April, and I'm just crying, and I don't cry ever. My wife's seen me cry like once, and I'm just bawling. I'm like, I just can't catch a break. I'm just trying to do my best, help people. I don't even know why am I getting punished. For something I can't even control, And I'm in the hospital under 5-6 days. They dismissed me. At the time, I lost my health care the next month. I had Medicaid, and the COVID policies all changed. So I had no health insurance. I'm trying to just find what I can. I finally got with a company that helped me out, and I got insurance for not that expensive that I can afford. Got back on my health care, got on a new medication that helped me so far stay afloat and not have a flare-up, so I haven't had any issues. Once I got that rolling, I added little things. I wasn't ready to go back to a meal plan. And just mentally, it's tough. It's really hard to eat the exact same thing at the same time, prep it all the time. Like my wife's already overwhelmed, and I suck at cooking, and I'm trying to provide because she has to stay at home with the 4 kids. She can't work right now. So I pay one of my friends, my best friend Brian. He doesn't even charge me; he just charges me the grocery bill, and he cooks my chicken for me, and I pick it up on Monday.
That's
Rice
sweet.
I can cook on my own. But I found that system that worked for me to get most of my meals in. And then I found the next thing to do. All right, now I need to make sure I get my water. So every Sunday I get dropped off 7 gallons of water, and I have that ready for the week, and I can refill it at the gym or at the house. And then I just added these next little things. I found what supplement protocols can help me kind of add and structurize some things, whether it's I need less sleep, I can optimize my cardio now, just what's going to work the best for me to build into that structure. And then finally I got to the point where like, all right, now you know what? I got all this. I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and now get it done sooner. And that gradually happened, since September to now. To finally, I probably will get back on a strict meal plan now and start a prep soon here to try to compete in July. Because last year's my first year I didn't compete in 6 years. I've done 6 shows. And it was really hard not competing. Like watching my clients and friends compete, I'm like, man, I miss that feeling so much. But, it's a sacrifice I had to make that year for my health because it was just tanking from the UC, and it was tough. It was a hard call, but you just got to bite the bullet and find that wave again and not force something.
I think one thing that people could do that really help with like managing their time with their kids if they're struggling with that is inventory your day. Okay, you got to be an efficiency manager for your day. And so be honest with yourself, inventory what you do on a daily basis or weekly basis and figure out the places that you're wasting time. You know what I mean? So like if you are inefficiently driving, like say you drive past your gym to go home and then drive back to the gym to go home, you just wasted 40 minutes of driving. Just go straight to the gym, bring your clothes. Whatever.
Right.
If your cardio in the morning is really causing you problems, you have to drive to the gym, go to the cardio, do your cardio, come home, whatever. Go buy yourself a treadmill, put it in your basement. Like, it's an easy investment. You'll save on, pay it off in the gas that you save anyway. Yeah. I got one on Marketplace for like $200. It was great. So there's different things in your life that you can do to free up time to then allow you to use that time to be more successful. And that goes not just for the gym. That could be like work. That could be family. Yeah. So now you have more time to allocate to wherever is lagging in your life.
Yeah, time management is everything when it comes to consistency, structure, and everything that you're doing.
Time management's tough. What about you, Kyle? How do you kind of manage your time through the day?
I do like the complete opposite of what a lot of gurus do. Like they talk about waking up early. I go to bed at midnight, so like I have like from when my kids go to bed at 9 to midnight to really focus on all business things.
Yeah.
And then a lot of my clients are West Coast, so going to bed early, that's only like 5 for them. And then I get up at like 6 and I put my kids on the bus. And then all 3 of my kids are in school now. So I have plenty of time throughout the day since I work for myself from home to do everything else.
Yeah.
But like, I do midnight to 6. That works for me. I've always been like a second shift style person, type of lifestyle. Like when I worked in the real world, I would work from like 2 to 10 normally. And I just really like that. It just works for me. Like how you said, like find what works for you.
Yeah.
If getting up at 5 a.m. doesn't work for you and you just feel like it's forced every day, you're not going to stick with it. But like midnight to 6 works like perfect.
That's sustainable
for,
for you.
Yeah.
When I started being a trainer, I trained clients from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. because no trainer worked that shift. So the UPS drivers, the FedEx guys, the people working night shifts, the gas station owners that are business owners, they don't have a trainer. But they hired me, and I got a chance because they could come into the gym at 12 a.m., 12:30, and that's how I started off being a trainer. When I left my job as a mortgage banker was prior to that, because I was just done with the corporate role, like you said. It was just ass. And now that I do what I love, it's great. But that's how I had to start, because who's going to hire me? I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Versus Big Mike or Brian or all these great coaches that are out there. So I had to give them a reason to give me a shot. And that's how I started building myself back up, too.
Well, I think that's the hard part, too, because, even with just starting this podcast, like my wife's like, God, this takes up so much of your time. You're editing on Monday. You're doing this on, Sunday night for 3 hours. And then now you want to do live on Tuesday here. And then you want to do live on Wednesday here. And I'm like, yeah, the idea is that I don't have to do this forever, because I'd rather get rid of the day job. You know what I mean? But the day job pays all the bills while I do something that I love. And then hopefully eventually, it switches and this does all of it. And then guess what? Now I have all that time during the day that's freed up completely because I don't got the day job. And, I get to do this a little bit more, whatever the case might be. But, when you want to do something and you're passionate about it, like you got to find a way. Like that's one thing I feel like a lot of men that really want to succeed in life, they're willing to like put in the work. Like, and sometimes, family doesn't understand that, wife, kids, they don't understand like, dang, why is dad working 10 to 3 in the morning? Like he's not here all night. Or your wife's like, I want you in bed with me at night. And you're like, the goal is I'm in bed with you every single night moving forward because I'm doing this during the day. And then I'm happier, which means our time together is happier, rather than me coming home from a shitty day of doing what I don't really like to do, but I'm forced to pay the bills.
I'd be like, you want me in bed with you every night? All right, we're going to take your new car in and we're going to trade it in for a beater.
Yeah.
I'll be home every night. I don't have to pay a car payment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Have her talk to my wife. Like my wife used to say the same shit, because I'm like probably like 2-3 years ahead of where you're like, because I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd work and then I'd come do my business. On the weekend I would travel, do podcasts, and then they're like, I never see you. I'm like, but eventually you will see me all the time. And my wife doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
She one time she almost gave up on the process, and I was like, we will get a divorce right now, and I'll keep doing this because I know where it's going.
Right.
There's always fat to be trimmed too. Sure. So I've had clients too that like are having a hard time with bodybuilding, and it's a tough conversation to have. But you're like, it's their chick, right? And to me, dude, if you're passionate about something like bodybuilding or whatever it is, work, anything, if your wife is not supportive or your girlfriend is not supportive of what you're doing, your passion, she ain't the one, dude. Because like
100%.
you need to be in a
mindset.
in a situation where your significant other is supporting you in whatever goals that you have, and you should be like that with them too. And so, but if they're dragging you down, you're basically running a marathon with weights on your heels. You know what I mean? So it's just not worth doing. You need to take those weights off and then succeed and find somebody that makes you better. You know, even in a lesser aspect, like if you're trying to save money, there's always ways to save money. There's always ways to save time. I mean, we recently when we would go out to eat, I'm like, man, I really want to like try to save a little bit, you know? So we'd go out to eat and we decided instead of getting like Diet Coke or whatever, I just wouldn't order drinks. I'm just drinking water, you know? And I calculated up in like a month of like, you know, going out to dinners and stuff or whatever. It was like, I don't know, like $100 or something we saved on Diet Cokes.
Yeah, especially like if you have the kids with you and they're drinking, you know, whatever.
No,
like,
drinking water. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right. Or even like there'll be times when, you know, like I'm always one, like if I go to a new restaurant, a nice restaurant, like I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. So like we got to the point where like, all right, well, like how about we just split this and then we'll get this and this, like instead of getting like, you know, whatever the case might be. Because you're right, there's all kinds of ways to save different, make money here and there.
Save time, save energy, and boost your ability to succeed. So stress is another one. Yeah.
So how do you guys, to get off topic a little bit, because obviously saving money, I'd imagine chicken and rice is actually a good way to save money. Because I mean, overall, the meal probably costs you what, like $7 to $8 a meal, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, not even that.
Yeah.
No, rice is, you know, $10 bag lasts you God knows how long. And chicken breasts, if you get it, you know, $2 to $3 to $4 a pound, depending where you go. We'll just say $4 a pound, and you're eating a 7-ounce portion after you cook it. That's going to make 2 meals. So it's $2 for the chicken. The rice is maybe 30 cents. So there's $2.30 a meal.
Wow. Yeah. So how often do you guys have to prep? Is it like something where like if you're doing, let's say I want to make chicken and rice, can I make it for like 4 days? Is that too far out?
No. I mean, on mine's, I usually make it on Monday, and it lasts me till Monday.
Oh wow, really? You cook that far in advance?
Let me rephrase. Brian makes it on Monday. And I eat it until Monday.
No, I think once a week is fine. I do twice a week. I do on the days I don't train, I meal prep. Again, time management, right?
Yeah,
so I'm
sure.
not at the gym, so I have an extra hour and a half during the day to meal prep. So, I'll make my chicken and everything, and I actually like my rice fresh every morning. So I'm kind of bougie like that. So
That's easy to make quick, though.
Yeah, for sure. So I just get my stovetop. I make most of my rice in a pan and or in a pot, and I just make it in the morning with my breakfast, and I just pack my meals. And then the other thing I do too to stay really consistent is I measure out all my meat portions the day before. So my meals are ready to go. I just have to add the rice and go. So so if you have a hard time, or if I have to get up early, I might make the rice the night before, so that way it's ready to go. So I know, okay, I got to be out. I got to do this. I'm not a morning person, so that routine has to be. Yeah, I'm like a 7 a.m. guy. So,
all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Early to some people.
Yeah,
I mean, it is early to some people. So I'm a big habits person. Like I have an app. It's actually just called Habits, I think. But like where like all the stuff that I have to do, and it has like reminders for like different times.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, I get to check off what I did that day and shit. And it's like, oh man, I feel really good. I got 14 out of 16 habits I want to do today. And then like there's a day where you got 6 out of 16. You're like, oh, I did that. Shit. Oh, I did that.
my clients do that because I send them like a step count goal, a hydration goal, and they all have a boxes to check off when they do it.
Yeah.
And then when your whole paper's filled out, and you're like, oh shit, I checked all my boxes off.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could add the most simplest stuff to it. Like I like to make sure I write in a journal every day. Like whether even if I write half a page or whatever, I just want to make sure I like calculate. All right, this is what I did today. What am I happy about? What did I wish I did better, et cetera. And like when I get to check that off that I did that, it's like, you know what? Like instead of like playing on my phone while I was laying in bed the last 5 minutes of the night, I took time to write something down or whatever the case might be.
The biggest quote I tell my clients that always sticks to them is I tell everybody is if you fail to prepare, you're prepared to fail. It's as simple as that. I mean, as long as you prep it in advance and it's set, why would you cheat out?
That was the old Hoydick model, wasn't it?
Did he say that?
I think so.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
It might be. I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I think I'm at that point where it's like I want to see a few more changes, and like you talked about like, oh, I want to bench 315, oh, I want to bench 405, whatever case. Like it gets to the point where like instead of just like trying to gain more weight, like all right, now I want to see more changes in this, or now I want to like shred a little bit more pounds. I want to show what abs off or whatever.
Vanadrol will do that.
We got you.
Yeah, it's so easy to want to do that. But here's a misconception though. You actually have to work out when you do that shit,
twice
right?
as hard.
Twice as hard.
It's funny. Like everyone's like, "Oh, that guy's on steroids." I'm like, so it's like fucking.
Honestly, steroids only make sense if you work hard enough for the steroids to work. Otherwise, you're just fucking yourself up internally
And
for
the
no reason.
nutrition. You know how many people are fat at the gym that are on copious amounts of steroids?
Oh,
yeah.
People are yoked on little amounts. I just started a cycle. I'm doing 500 tests, 300 mass. I just started it
Good cycle.
3 days ago.
I mean,
3 days
it's
ago.
The
huh?
easiest.
So that's your first time?
I did one in the Marine Corps back in the day, but I didn't know what I was doing. Now
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. So
Yeah, now you kind of have like a routine around it, a diet
I
around
have
it.
a baseline.
Yeah. Plus, you're around good people that like if something's wrong, like, hey, what's going on with this or what's going on with this?
Me and Nick will be
I
like,
just-
well, what's your blood work? Go
I just
ahead.
gotta,
that's exactly what we'll do.
because I'm moving to Florida and I gotta catch up with all the people and I kick it with like nothing but bodybuilders, so I gotta get. And then like I'm gonna do a health phase. I'm gonna do like 750 tests, 500 mass, and some anabar.
That's one thing too. It's funny you say moving to Florida, I got to kick it up a notch. So like when you travel like Arizona, California, Florida, Texas, like you could just tell that it's warm outside all year round, and these people are like then like they're not in like sitting in like October where they're bundled up with big jackets and hoodies. Like no, bro, they got to be on fleek all the time because they're gonna be walking around, and the women are gonna be in sports bras and white and freaking yoga pants. Dudes are gonna be wearing fucking medium t-shirts or tank tops and like.
Most of them don't even wear a shirt.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, or yeah, you see the guy running down the street with this 6-pack bling. You're like, "Fuck you,
And they
dude."
like
God.
success more, dude. Like you'll wear $1,000 watch and they'll make fun of you. Or I'm like, dude, when I went to the Brad Lee thing, this is before my business blew up. He's like, how much did you make last year? I'm like, well, I had just started like blowing up and made 300,000. He's like, dude, I made that in like 3 days. I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
No, dude, it's crazy.
Like, so when you get around that, you realize like you not even like. I get a lot of hate for like I brag about my success, but like then I go around people and they're making fun of me like 300,000 a year ain't shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and now that I'm up to like I make really good money, and then I see Wes makes fucking $3 million a month, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like I'm nowhere near the people I like.
Yeah, dude. There's some girl selling her feet on it, OnlyFans, making $300,000 a year.
A month, bro. Dude, there's chicks out there making like 75K a
I
month.
can name
dude.
some names. Let's just say that.
Dude, that
I
shit
bet
is
you can.
insane to me, dude. That fucking amount of money. Because to me, I'm like, all right, I need to somehow get the people that are fucking paying this money to these fucking broads following this show. Like, do I gotta fucking throw out some of his feet fucking photos like once a month? Like, because if they're willing to spend $5 million on a girl who, like, I just saw something the other day. This chick, supposedly she's a virgin, never had sex or anything, doesn't do anything like that on Instagram or on OnlyFans or whatever.
Looks like Mia Khalifa.
I didn't see it. I was reading or was listening to a podcast when they were talking about it, but supposedly some dude paid her $5 million for something, or like he was her largest provider, and like I'm like, okay, so this woman's never had sex with anybody, so she definitely didn't have sex with him. She doesn't do like sex on camera, all this to play with herself on camera or whatever. I don't know. I've never seen OnlyFans, so I don't really know what it does, but like all these different things you hear about. Who the fuck gave her $5 million and why? Like, I need to find that idiot and fucking like hit him up when he's walking down a back alley alone.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there with money, bro. Like I have a high ticket program, which is like for like, dude, if I tell someone that makes $1 million a month that my program's $750 for 3 months, like it's not enough money to like, bro. He paid $10,000 for my year program, and then he never complained, never did nothing. I made $10,000 in a day, and this dude follows everything. And then there's people when I used to charge $50 a month that would say it was a scam.
Yeah.
When people have money like that, that
just
$5
don't
million
even
probably
blink.
wasn't shit to him.
Yeah, I
In
mean,
2026, Elon Musk will be the first trillionaire. Do you think
Yeah.
he'd even care if he tipped you $5 million?
Yeah, he wouldn't
for
give a
your-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a $20 bill.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like,
Elon, where you at?
try to get shit, let me know.
Yeah.
I get shit all the time because like I met with this dude the other day up at the gym, and he's like, yeah, I really want to take my fitness under, and do everything. And I said, yeah, let's set up a consultation. I said, I like to meet with people and just make sure I'm a good fit for them. Tell him everything about it. He's all gung ho. I'm like, yeah, cool. I do $300 a month with a 3-month commitment, right? And that covers pretty much all of my services: the meal plan, the nutrition, the supplement plan. If you're enhanced, we do a drug plan. We
Check-ins.
do blood work. We do weekly check-ins. I would design a workout plan for you. You have access to me pretty much 24/7. If you need something, I have you film your workouts and send them to me. I usually give a couple free in-person training sessions with it, so you understand what you're doing and how the process works and everything, right? And it's a revolving plan. It's made for you, and it changes based on what your needs are. It's a lot, and so I request a 3-month commitment because I don't want to work with anybody that's not willing to invest with themselves. You know what I mean? I don't really care. I'm not about the money like that,
Well, not to mention it's your time. Like we just talked about how difficult it is to like manage your time. Like you're devoting yourself. So like when someone hears like, oh, he's just it's not like you're just like printing something out on the internet and handing it to him. Like you're developing this plan based off what you know about him on blood work, on all these different things, and then you have to teach him how to use it, and then you've got to change it based off of So yeah, it makes. I mean, $300
I think
seems
that's
very
what-
fair.
I think it's very fair. And honestly, like other high end coaches are going to charge $500-$600. There's a coach, his name's Milos. I love the dude, but he'll charge you $150 for a phone call, for a 20-minute phone call. You know what I mean? So it's like shit. You know, like so I don't think it's unreasonable. But as soon as I told this dude the price, he's like, oh no. 2 minutes ago, you was willing to do anything at all. I asked him to do. I could have went outside and told him to eat grass. He would have done it. But I said, oh, $300 a month. No, I can't do that.
And, it's still $300 a month, or he has to pay the $900 up front.
I do the $900 up front, and then it's like once you hit that, then it's just month to month.
Yeah.
I mean, I realized when I started off as a personal trainer and I'm trying to get business, I did a lot of free business.
Yeah.
And all the free programs I wrote, nobody does.
Nobody
They don't
follows
follow
them.
them, bro.
Yeah.
Even if it's
They have no
$50 a
accountability.
month, they
You got to
too
charge them
cheap.
something. Yeah.
So yeah, right now I work with I do consultant for car dealerships and like the software that they use to run their business and stuff like that. And like they'll always be like, you know, how long does it come in? I'm like, dude, minimum a year. And they're like, well, can't you do like month to month, or can't you do like 0 setups? I'm like, no, dude, because I know you. I ran dealerships for 20 years. I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to roll it out. You're going to half-ass your rollout. You're not going to hold anybody accountable because you know that you could cancel it in a month. So if nobody does it and in a month then nobody's doing it and they say they're not using it, then you're going to fucking shit the bed and you're going to throw it out the window. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If I tell you it's a year and you have a minimum investment and you pay to set it up, you're going to be in the service lane or you're going to be on the sales floor every day with your team, making sure they're learning the product. You're going to get the most out of it, and there'll be a return on your investment. For anybody, and that's anything that you spend money on. Like if you're spending money on something, like when I started spending the money on the stuff for this podcast equipment, like I'm like, all right, well, I have to dedicate the time now because I had the money invested. When somebody dedicates themselves and they give you that $900, well, guess what? That's 3 months I've committed to, I'm going to do this. So when you show up a week from now and you say, I don't want to fucking eat this way, then you're going to be like, I spent $900 fucking dollars. I better eat this way.
I have clients so a couple of them that pay a year in advance. Those are my most successful clients.
Of course.
It's not a coincidence. You know what I mean? So the people that pay a year in advance are more successful because they are locked in. And you know what? I pay my coach a year in advance. I'm like, hey, cool. And it gives me a little bit of discount. I give my clients a discount. They pay a year in advance. Like, okay, cool. I get to save money and I don't have a choice, dude. If right now I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do bodybuilding anymore. I'm at least going to do it for the next 6 months because I've already paid for it. You know what I mean? So, and then by then it'll be all reignited and everything. So.
Well, and the other thing too is like, once again, like they're spending that money. That means they're dedicated and they're committed to you for the next 3 months. They're less likely to quit. Like when you give out a free workout, they're not going to do anything. They're going to come back to you a week later and maybe, they'll complain.
The free shit, yeah. Well, and the thing about it too is, especially with fitness, like it takes time to learn the person's body. It takes time for them to get acclimated to the plan. The first month I have a new client, especially when they're a lifestyle person that has never done this before, they're not a competitor, it takes a good 4 to 6 weeks for them just to learn how to do the plan. And what I usually do is, especially for people like that, I start them off with basic stuff, right? So basic meal plan. You're going to eat the same thing every day. We'll just use meal plan for example, but this applies to everything. Okay, so you have a basic meal plan, cool. And a step count goal and everything else. And then once you can adhere to everything and we have good weeks, maybe 2 or 3 in a row, now I'm going to switch you from a high day food, low day food. Okay, high day on training days, low day on off days. Cool. Or maybe then we figure out if that works. Now we got to figure out if it actually works. So, oh man, this guy works a lot better with a carb cycling, like a rhythm. So, okay, let's try a couple different rhythms, see how that works. So you have to experiment a little bit and figure the person's body out.
Right, you won't get that in 2 weeks.
You're not going to get that in 2 weeks.
Well,
Exactly.
and here's the other aspect too. Like the good thing that you do a 3 month commitment is this. Like, okay, so anybody that, let's say I'm Joe Schmo off the street, I haven't worked out in 5 years. If I come in and I dedicate myself to your meal plan for 4 weeks, without working out at all, I'm going to notice a pretty significant change in my body, most likely. Mm-hmm. If I work out just a little bit, I'm going to notice a pretty significant, maybe even a little bit more of an increase along with my meal plan. You're going to be able to see, okay, in a month, like that difference, that all that stuff is really, there's really nothing you can really say in particular. Like I didn't really learn anything. You just lost a bunch of weight because you were fat or because you hadn't worked out in so long, and it's your body like reacting to a drastic change to your lifestyle. You started getting up at the same time, eating the same things, etc. Like month 3, 4 really is where, okay, now it's actually, let's see how your body's, now we can see where your body's actually like following a certain an aspect. Whereas the all-time go drummer that's like, hey, I want to actually become a bodybuilder, I want to compete, like that first month you're going to learn a lot more about his body
yeah.
because like if you do anything that changes it, like, he's going to notice it. You're going to notice it. Like, so a different aspect on who you're training as well.
And the other thing too is it's not about the money necessarily. It's just about the commitment. So like, for instance, I had a client about a year ago and she was a little bit older lady. She wanted to compete in bikini. She had competed before, but didn't do very well. And she comes to me with all these things and she says, a bunch of obstacles. I probably shouldn't have even took her at the beginning, but I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try. And so we
talked about that with Dejan, right? Like you're just trying to get those first couple of clients to give you some practice, if anything.
Exactly. So and this was, I was kind of newer and stuff, and she was a vegan, which was a huge red flag. Hard to build muscle with fucking vegans, bro. So she's like, I don't eat meat. She's like, I drink wine on the weekends and I eat flat red pizzas on the weekends and stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, we'll try to get that, break that habit, whatever. And so I give her all this plan, and she didn't like the food. She didn't like this. She complained every fucking week why she couldn't do this or couldn't do that, couldn't do this. We got about 6 weeks in, and I was messaging her. I'm like, I sent her money back for the thing. I gave her 100% refund, even for the time that she spent with me. And I was like, she's like, I got a Venmo from you. I'm like, yeah. I was like, it's not working out. Like, it's just not going to work because she's like, well, why? What's going on? I said, number one, you're vegan, which I'm not trying to convince you to eat meat, but that's working against us. And then you're not willing to stick to a plan. You have to eat flatbread pizzas and drink wine all weekend, and you want to compete. Like, I'm not putting my name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've had clients before that I've let go and given refunds because they can't do a check-in every fucking week at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I do all my check-ins on Sunday night. So when I leave here, I'm going to go home and do all my check-in stuff. I tell guys, send it to me Saturday or Sunday morning, whichever one's easier for you. I'll reply back to you Sunday night, and you'll have it in your inbox Monday morning.
And it's not even that. That person is now taking up a slot of someone who could really use the life change that you don't get to now give.
And I cap myself at 20. So if, unfortunately I have room right now, but I don't always have that. So, if you can't follow basic directions, I'm not going to waste my time. I don't need the money that bad.
Well, and that's when you talk about $300 a month. Like that's shit. That's really nothing when you talk about the amount of time somebody's putting into it, because they think of it as like, oh, it's $300 a month. I'm going to have to do all this to afford that $300 a month.
They're spending that shit to kill
Yeah. But for you,
spending cigarettes and beer last month.
Yeah, but for you, I look at it as like I'm only making $300, and I have to dedicate at least 6 hours a week to this person.
Sure.
I mean, from what you're telling me, you're doing maybe even at least maybe 4 hours a week to each person. So
you have about
to
an
me,
hour
like
at least in each check-in, and then you have and sometimes more when you're writing workout plans.
yeah. So let's say you spend 20 hours a month on total on one client, right? And even if you cut that in half and say 10 hours a month, like people won't even work Chick-fil-A for fucking $30 an hour. Like you want them to fucking change your life for $30 an hour? Like get the fuck out of here, man.
I mean, unless they're running a gear cycle, you're saving them more money in that 3 months. Like I charge $750 for 3 months if they buy it. Because I've charged $300 also. Yeah. But it just gets cheaper if you buy. And like dude, you're gonna save more money by like eating better, not going around the fucking shitty people, not smoking as much. Because like once you build one better habit, the next better habit comes, and the next, and then before you know it, dude, you saved $1,500 in the 3 months versus the $750 you spent. So I put money back in your pocket.
So
if you're a good client, because the clients make the coach.
And you get what you pay for a little bit.
The worst thing is when you have a coach that off rip, they're starting you off on a cycle.
Yeah, that is horrible.
Prescribing something like, hey, you never want to do that. I mean, sure, if the person's already on stuff and stuff like that, you'll work with them. But you want to encourage someone starting off naturally or just learning what their genetic potentials are before you really even experiment on that kind of side of things, or even if they're consistent, and you can't just be putting people on. If let's take Tren and Anavar. Yeah, you're going to lose weight and look pretty good in 12 weeks. And you'll be, oh, this coach is amazing. Look at the transformation. Like, okay, well, let me see the transformation in 30 weeks from now when their blood work isn't as great and they gain everything back because they got off cycle and their testosterone's not great.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of instances that a lot of coaches get that instant, and then the clients are like, where did it go? Well, they're like, well, we didn't do it right.
And then they took that first 12 weeks to post all those videos about you as you're just doing awesome, and then all of a sudden you drop off their Instagram page the next
So
12
many
weeks.
clients hate me when they're like, well, I want to take this, and like, well, I get it, and we can go to have that conversation, but please do it this way because it's going to be better for you in the long run, and I can see what you really need, and not just force a bunch of stuff down you don't know it's doing in your body.
Well, the other thing is too, I mean, obviously steroids come into a factor when you're starting to try to like, when you're not necessarily when you're plateauing, but when you're really trying to, but most people don't need them.
Honestly, 99% of people don't even need steroids.
Correct.
If you have a little bit of work ethic and optimize your life with time management and everything else, you will probably get to your goals that you need, unless you're trying, even competing, you can compete just fine natural. Unless you're trying to get to a national level and beyond, that's when you want to really consider it. And even then, Depending on how far you take it is going to also depend on your genetics. Because I don't care if you have shit genetics and you take steroids, you're not going to beat Chris Bumstead.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. And the thing is, too, is if you can't follow the meal plan, the hydration, the sleep, that you don't train like a fucking dog every day, then you got no business taking any of that stuff. And I talk a lot of people out of it. Any client that I have, if you're taking shit, I'm not going to alter what you take unless I think it's like super detrimental to your health.
Right.
I'm not going to alter it until I see some blood work. And I'm not going to prescribe you anything to take until you can check all your boxes consistently. I need 4 to 6 weeks of you doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and I need to see your blood work, and then we can start talking about a cycle. Because like so many people just lean on it. They're like, oh, if I just take this, I'll get bigger, and if I just do this,
I'll go pro.
And they try to like use that as a crutch for all the shit that they're not doing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people that they think they're just going to go pro as soon as they take steroids. And a big part of it is like one of the best examples is Kai Green and Phil Heath. When they competed, Kai Green never beat Phil Heath. And his quote was, hard work beats talent unless talent wants to work hard. So unless you have that level to take it to there, 9 times out of 10, like you can get to a certain point with your hard work and everything else. But if you want to be the best, you got to have a lot of stones in the right place. And, you know, when someone talks about having bad genetics or not optimal genetics, you might not have the best genetics to be a good bodybuilder, but maybe you have the good genetics to be a golfer or a basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm sure Yao Ming would have made a shitty bodybuilder. But he did great in the NBA. So.
So this is something I just heard this morning. As far as genetics go, when it comes to bodybuilding, the number one body part that kills bodybuilders' career is calves because they are more genetic. There's like less you can do about your calves than any other part of your body.
I've never seen a guy step on stage like those calves. No, it's usually their back lat spreads, their chests, you know, their hamstrings, their quads. I'm not barely paying attention to the calves.
Yeah, I would actually say it's almost opposite. Like I've seen some really good bodybuilders that have shit calves. They do really well. Ian Valliere was like one in particular who like he was like 7th in the world like 4 times. He's got like the worst calves I've ever seen. He got those white boy calves, you know what I mean? But yeah, so yeah, dude, they just some people just don't have that genetic. And I do think you can grow them. It's just like anything else, though. You have to train it. Like a lot of people, like they don't really train calves. Like, all right, I'm gonna start off my leg down and do calves, and you just do a couple sets of seated calf raises. That's it. If you have shit calves, you need to train them hard. Same with arms. Like a lot of people don't train arms hard. They got little tiny arms. Because they don't love training arms. They just go in and do a couple curls, a couple extensions. They're not focusing on mind-muscle connection. They're not trying to train to failure. They're not, focused on that hypertrophy and time under tension and shit. They're just like, oh, it's arm day. It's like almost like a rest day. I just go in and move a little weight. Nah, dude, if you have a bad muscle group, you need to train that muscle group harder than you train anything else.
Yeah, and on top of that, I have a lot of guys who even like tell me or themselves, they're like, I have a really good quads, like me. That doesn't mean I train quads any less. If anything, I got to train them even harder because that's my good genetic anomaly. That's going to be my wow factor on the stage. You want that to still stand out. Well, I don't want to be disproportionate. You're not going to be as long as you train everything else the right way. Like me, I'm built to have wide clavicles, so I can like have a wider back to my taper. So I got to use that to my advantage and fill out my frame for how I'm structured. Some people don't have wide clavicles and they got to fill out mass and just take over their whole frame. Everyone has a different structure that they have to just work on and build the way they need it to.
Yeah.
And I was a small legs guy. Like I never trained when I was younger. I hated training legs. I was like, oh man, it's hard, and like I don't want to do it. So when I started bodybuilding, I was lagging and I had to catch up. And I'll show you this picture, but you can, I don't know, I'll send it to you if you want to put it on the chat or whatever when you post it. That's a 1 year difference.
Yeah, that's huge difference.
And I fell in love with training legs. So yeah, it's like, so having, just because you have a weak body part doesn't mean you can't grow it. It just takes time.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're getting ready to wrap this up, so let's make sure. Does anybody else have anything in particular they want to bring up, anything they want to discuss? If you guys want to share, actually, I'd like to hear a little bit. So what do you guys currently do as far as, what are you offering your clients? What do you have availability? Where can they find out information about you? Let's kind of end on that, unless you've got something else you want to bring up as well.
Me right now, me and Mike are taking on some clients. We do usually $200 a month for a program. And then if you want in-person training, that depends on the frequency you come, between $35 to $45 a session. We just do half-hour sessions. You can request the full hour, but if you're training hard for half an hour, you'll feel it and you'll be done. My favorite quote is people are like, we're only training half an hour. I'm like, if we make it to half an hour, yes. And they quickly realize why that is. And that allows me to just take in more in-person people, which luckily now that I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning, I have some availability.
Okay.
So,
And where do they find out about you? Instagram is typically the best place, or is there other spots to go? You guys have a website or anything?
yeah, All My Day on Instagram is the easiest way to get in contact, and they can literally just book right from there. All my links are on there.
All right. We'll make sure we put the links too in the description on YouTube and Spotify and stuff like that. And shout out to, what's the company name too that we want to make sure we put on there?
Center_stage_aesthetics.
Okay. And that's the name of the company that you guys run under, so they can find information there. Yep. All right. Perfect. Nick, what about you? Are you taking on clients right now, or telling your wife that you're going to be late?
No, I was just because I recently changed my Instagram handles. I want to make sure I did it right. But it's beefcake19. It's a beef_cake19, right? And
Why the change?
I don't know, man. I felt like everybody it was like a big, like my buddy who I train with is Big Steve, and then everybody calls Mike Big Mike. So I was Big Nick. So I didn't want to be a big guy, you know what I mean? I just wanted to have something unique. So I was like, yeah, I think I need a rebrand, you know. So that's what I did. And I had this. It's funny. I have this this shirt. It's pink and it says Beefcake on it. It's from a South Park episode.
Yeah, I remember.
Beefcake. Yeah, Beefcake. Yeah, Cartman gets the supplement. He said he's so big, he's going on TV.
Yeah,
I'm so huge, I can't even get in this butt. You know, whatever. Yeah. So I just always thought that was funny. So I wear the shirt all the time. So yeah, Beefcake works out good. So so that's the story behind it. But yeah, I am taking on a couple clients. I think I have 4 or 5 slots available right now. I actually had a couple people that I let go, and then one that left because they moved. But so I had some openings come up, and yeah, I mean, I train out of the warehouse gym and also out of the Fit for You gym. Most of my stuff's online though, so it's a little bit easier time management wise to do that. And yeah, I kind of good blend. So
cool.
So mine's a little bit different. Mine's like mindset coaching and like business mentoring and stuff like that. And Perry's _powerhouse_fitness. And I always have availability because I do like group coaching on Sundays. So there is really nothing of being full. You just message me, tell me what your goals are, and then like fitness is just the back end burner.
Yeah.
Normally it's mindset coaching, sobriety, stuff like that, and then fitness is just part of it.
Yeah. So we didn't really touch on that a little bit, but tell us a little bit about mindset. So is it's go a little bit deeper into kind of some of the ideas that you help out people with, just so we know.
Pretty much really all I do is like I take that Six Sigma aspect and the agile, the scrum, everything I did, like we talked about cutting out the excess fat, that's really big in Six Sigma, and I teach people how to do that with their entire lives.
Awesome.
Most of my clients make more money just by the people they meet and the time management, and then they realize like they've been slacking in so many areas. And then I also help people with their Instagram SEO, because a lot of people are slacking on, like, you can put like online fitness coach right beside your name because that's the only searchable content. So like I help people do that as well to get their brand and their businesses out there. I don't make online coaches.
Yeah.
Because Wes Watson taught me, and I don't want to make a watered down version. I just send them to him, but I can help you get more business in your area. So it's really just improving their lives overall. So it's mindset, fitness, nutrition. I even tell them that they'll fix their finances if they follow it. All my clients make more money, get more motivated, and I have a lot of sales opportunity jobs for them too. So I'm just overall changing people's lives.
Good for you, my guy. All right, Evan, you got anything else to add?
I got nothing else to add.
All right, on that, let's wrap it up. Good night, everybody.
Pleasure meeting you.
Protection, provide when nights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight.